Man, I woke up this morning and had a dream about something where there was an Augustus Gloop statue from freaking
Willy
Charlie and
Wonka?
Chocolate. It's very weird.
Wait, the Johnny
Wonky,
Depp
baby.
version or the original version?
They're both
All I
wonky.
remember was Augustus Gloop, and I was laughing when I woke up. It was very strange. Hi, stream!
Welcome, everybody.
I've been
Thanks for
saving
joining
that
us.
all day.
Woo. Thank you for joining our shenanigans today. Welcome along on this adventure. We are the Keep. We are fixing to dive into our Sanctum series adventure. Please come along. Let it be a spot of sunshine in your day, because it's going to get crazy. It's going to be fun. So before we do that, we do have a few brief announcements. As always, we have our social media that you should definitely check out. We've got the Facebook page and the Instagram and a fairly inactive Twitter that we will be better at.
We promise them that every week. We're still not better at.
Are we politicians?
We will try. We will make an attempt.
We do have a website, too, that has been updated and will continue to be updated.
Bios on it now?
It has some of our bios. Some certain people still haven't turned theirs in yet, so I'll get on that.
No, I sent mine last year.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I think I have yours, mine, and Lauren's. I was going to say, I think I have Wes's now, too.
I sent mine to Jordan a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't get anything from Jordan. I basically gave up.
Well, I still have it if I need to reset.
You probably do.
Hey,
anyway.
Guys,
on that note, we're going to go ahead and move on. Speaking of social media, Garrett has a YouTube channel. So if you're watching us on Twitch, you should definitely also check out Night Shift Night on YouTube. That is
I do stuff
wonderful
on
Garrett
YouTube.
stuff.
Also, public apology. I am so sorry that the time lapse on my Gundam video I just did was so bloody long. I will do better because that was so boring. Oh my god.
Live and learn.
So
It's a process, and you'll get better at it. Just like we get better at our
20-minute video, and 15 of those minutes were time lapse. My god.
Cue time lapse.
Time lapse power activate.
Yeah. Speaking of other things you should check out, not necessarily time lapse, but still pretty cool. Dinner and a Game is another Texas-based group of streamers. They are awesome people. Very, very cool and invested in their community, and also running a couple of D&D campaigns. They are going through Curse of Strahd, and they've got an Eberron campaign, and they happen to have a Firefly campaign if you're into the shiny verse. That one's on Fridays, and I'm partial to it because I'm a cast member.
It's also super stressful. The anxiety level is up here.
It climbs, and then there's a slight breath, and then it climbs, and then there's a slight breath.
What she doesn't tell you is that slight breath is them going, ah!
Hey, I mean, we bought swimsuits this last episode. That was cool.
I mean, yeah, that was hilarious. I could not.
They're officially an anime if they have a beach episode.
Yeah, that's right.
It wasn't beach, it was water park, but it was like water park at this resort planet.
And service!
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. So definitely should check them out. Also, you should totally check out Take This, which is a nonprofit organization that we are partnering with to raise awareness and remove the stigma of mental health issues in the gaming community. They have a bunch of awesome resources and are doing a lot of really good, much needed work. I can talk, I promise. Actually, no, that's a lie. I'm sorry. Don't believe me. But you should believe me about Take This, because they really do awesome work. If you can afford to donate, please do, because, like I said, it is much needed, especially in this year. But we know that it's 2020. It is the holiday season of 2020, and we understand lots of people are strapped for cash. So if you can't donate, please consider spreading the word, sharing their message or some of their resources. It would mean a ton. So check them out. They have their own webpage, and we'll put the link in the description, the doobly-doo. I think that's it. There's no Jordan today, but he should be back next week.
Fun find him. And give him
mission for him, and he's not here.
Should put his email below and just let the.
No,
I would
no,
never
don't
do
do
that.
that.
No,
Well, here's his phone number.
The minute we convince him to get a Twitter, though, yeah.
Oh, yes.
1-800.
We'll
1-800.
see.
I'm a bard.
That's probably the reason why, is because he knows we would pull crap like that.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all would pull crap like that. I am too nice to pull crap like that.
You are full of crap.
I'm pretty sure that the audience can tell who troublemakers are.
Yeah, there are certain instigators among us. Not me. I am
I've
not.
never played that
Talking
game.
about.
I've never played that game. I just I don't know.
On that note,
On that note,
let's do that.
let's go ahead and jump into
Joke,
the
dead
adventure for
silence.
today.
Yeah.
So last we left our heroes, you had managed to retrieve the journal from the Underlord outside of Whitebrand. You headed to Whitebrand itself, had a little encounter with Oust that Rye quickly bamfed away for some private conversation. You Oust through that conversation did return to the library. You received more information about the mission Kazator had received from Master Ansel Corian to rescue Master Corian's former student, Hari Reslin, who had gone missing in the Feywild and was late returning. So Master Corian has sent you to find him, and if not, then to see if you can salvage anything of his research and just try to maintain his legacy. So you spent some time in Grimhold. You teleported yourselves to Grimhold to make some preparations, buy some potions, take care of some things, and on your last evening there, Doran was found in these streets by Lita. He had this encounter. Y'all spent a very nice evening together.
Yes.
Got back to the group a little late, but that's okay. You regathered. Soliex had an eventful moment where he renewed his affirmations to Bahamut in a new aspect and took a new oath, a new course as a paladin of the Platinum Dragon. You returned to Whitebrand and were sent to the Feywild by Laneth, the High Priestess there. High Priestess of Ioun, because there are multiple temples in that city.
Empty.
On your arrival, well, one of them is, thank you, Siliex. On your arrival in the Feywild, you took stock of your group and realized Halberd had been split from the group. Val sent him a sending message, and he affirmed his presence outside city gates. The group spoke with a naiad in the glade that they landed and got some information about the location, the direction of the nearest city, discovering yourselves to be in the domain of the Eventide Empress, the Archfey who rules these lands.
So bad.
You scryed to find Master Reslin, and discovered him to be at some sort of party or event, exhausted but dancing. Val sent a message to him, and he affirmed that he had served under the Eventide Empress and had displeased her and was under her discipline. You received directions to the city, making your way towards the city gates where they hoped to meet Halberd. We're actually going to pick back up a few minutes, about 45 minutes prior to your arrival at the city gates. Halberd.
45 minutes.
Can we remind ourselves as players, Feywild, no names, no promises, all that kind of like, don't be dumb.
Everybody.
I say this mostly for myself.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, remember, no names.
Yeah, like, because the characters know, but it's been a hot minute for us.
It's been a week.
Yeah, so if y'all want to go around real quick and remind what you're actually calling each other.
Alabaster Group. I am making all the deals.
Oh, that would be hilarious. I doubt it would work the way we want it to, but we have the Arbiter,
Cleric,
Cleric,
Guardian, or Wanderer. It bounces back and forth.
Mhm.
Strider, Airborne.
So
I mean,
we
our
have
classes, our races, and the other titles other than our actual names, I think they all apply.
And wordsmith.
Wordsmith.
Oh, this is gonna get crazy.
All right.
Be fun.
So, flashing back to
So Guardian.
the arrival of Halberd.
Halberd.
God.
Archer Man.
You are surrounded by this wave of light, and it overwhelms your vision as Laneth and her fellows are casting the spell to transport you and your fellows to the Feywild. Your vision whites out, and you blink to clear away these sunspots from your eyes almost, and you look around and you find yourself outside the city gates. And it catches you aback, because this is familiar. This, as you look around, you hear the sounds, you see the sights. This is a city that you last saw in ruins. Completely decimated. This is a city that you had seen brought to the lowest of the low. This is your home. This is the capital of Torelm that has been brought into this land. You can see, as you look through the walls, you can see the people are not as they once were. Where it had been a thriving elven civilization, you see now all types of fae creatures that are moving through the gates. You see where walls had been broken down, they have been repaired. Where there is the white stone that the city had been known for as a decorative element, you can see it has now been used to cover all of the damage that had been done. It has been rebuilt out of what once was luxury and is now turned into a beautiful piece of art. The city itself has taken on a new form of life, and you can see towering over it all the castle that once held your ruler. You get a sending from Val very, very quickly. Asking about your presence. You let him know that you're outside the city gates and not to worry, you'll find them. You kind of blame Kazator for this mistake. Because it's only on his mission. Like, this is his fault, totally.
That tracks.
Time passes, and you see your group in the distance coming up down the road from the forest. You move to meet them, slightly to the west-ish, what would be the west, you think? But the directions are wonky here. The light is weird. This is not as you remember it, and you realize this is, as shocking as it is to not see this on the material plane, this is in the Feywild. So the lighting, although it is sort of captured at the most beautiful, most colorful part of the evening, it does not change. The sun never shifts in position. The colors in the sky don't really shift into night. The direction and the movement of time here is unsettlingly off.
Right?
Very weird.
You meet up with your group just outside the city gates. What are y'all doing?
Quick question, DM.
Yes.
From Val's and maybe Rye's experience, does this architecture look like it belongs, like belongs in the Feywild, or does this look very, very alien to the Feywild?
There are elements, right. Doran had looked at this at the end of last session.
Yeah, I just can't remember.
There are elements that are reminiscent of, especially elven civilizations on the the material plane. There are a number of areas where it looks like natural elements of various trees and large structures have been essentially used as structural elements within the city. So it's almost as though the city itself is unified with nature. It is It does look as though it had an elven base, but it has been here long enough that the Feywild has sort of started to take it over and give it this very Fey aesthetic.
Oh.
As you see your group coming towards you, Halberd, what's going through your head? What do you feel? What are your thoughts?
Incredibly cautious. This is not the way things are supposed to be. This is not what even should be. So, according to my world and how I perceive the world, this is unnatural and not necessarily something very good. So, caution level used to be like dwelt at a level of 10. I'm past that right now. Especially with this dude named Oust showing up and not liking me and me not really liking him. And now this. And Oust is the one who found this armor and all that stuff. Yeah. Very, very calm, very, very quiet. Make no point of hiding that from the crew. And I'll approach and, yeah, it's like, I don't know too much about the Feywilds as much. I know stories upon stories and what I've read, right? Just with Fey and all that.
Yeah. And you have fought a number of Fey creatures because when you remember Toralm, it was in a place where the planar barriers were thin between the prime material plane and the Feywild. So you would get incursions of Fey creatures sort of crossing that barrier. And so you have experience fighting a number of these types of creatures.
But what cities just relocating from their planet to the Feywilds? I would
make an intelligence check.
Oh, that's bad. That's not too bad, actually. No, that's going to be an 18.
18. Okay, yeah. So you're starting to put the timeline together. So you remember that Hari Reslin, the dude that you're searching for, he was in the Feywild researching a massive planar shift that had occurred some 150 years ago. 50 years, give or take, after the fall of your civilization. And it could very well be that this shift from the city moving from the material plane into the Feywild, this growth, this consumption of the city, is what caught his attention. And his research, his finding out and learning more about how and why the city moved, could very well be why he is still here.
Do you share that with the rest of us?
Yes, I relay that to the crew. Also, this is very far from natural or right, or I'd even say good. It doesn't flow with the way the world should work or does work in my experience. And I know I've not traveled a lot of lands, but something doesn't sit right. None of this sits right. Everything is just too loaded on top of each other. So
you're not wrong.
Be on guard, as always. And I'd say if you were highly on guard before, go beyond that.
And we're about to march into the city of an archfey. I'd say that's doubly reason to be on guard.
And Lord's gonna kill all of us.
Please don't kill my character.
I'd be
I'm wearing a
curious
+5 for groveling.
to find some answers.
Oh, yeah.
Do I recognize, Lauren? Do I recognize? Like, is this city almost a replication of what it was? As in, would I know my way around this place from what I've seen?
From what you've seen, just outside the city walls and through the city gate, it looks to be exactly the same. Like, as you sort of had walked forward to meet the group, the distances look right, the proportions look right. You'd probably be able to find your way around decently. Granted, it's been 200 years since the last time you were here. But
Man.
Do we want to try a direct approach, or should we trying to maintain our anonymity here.
Curious, Guardian, what happened to the ruler of your kingdom? Did he die as well, or was he enslaved in some way?
He had been enslaved. But as far as I know, and everything I found, he was dead.
And then the ruler of this place is a she, yes?
That's correct, the Empress.
The Empress. And you had a ruler, an emperor. Is there a chance they are perhaps related in some way?
God forbid.
Meaning, well,
I don't know.
my thought or concern would be, if you are recognized by any way, would that be good or bad?
Lauren, obviously something of this size is kind of weird, but is it common for the Fae to take things and sort of transpose them into the Feywild?
Yeah, that's not terribly uncommon. For it to be a city is very rare. Like, you haven't heard of anything like this in any recent history. Maybe in the early days, the most powerful Archfey claimed dominion over part of that. And Halberd would know, like, part of why they would send their send creatures through the barrier would be try to grow the bounds of the Feywild, but it happened typically slowly. For something like a city to be moved, that's a massive undertaking.
So, would I have any recollection, based off of the Fey creatures that would come across, remembrance of number sizing? I know at times like things would just pop out of rifts and you got Fey creatures, but then would there also be times when you'd have organized units or groups that would come out as if they were being directed?
An organized incursion?
Yeah, an organized incursion of another land, and if so, what group would have sent that and would I have known? Because that would have been
occasionally small groups. They were usually between 10 and 50 individuals, and there were not many that had the same sort of symbolism or heraldry that they carried. So one group would be unique, but they would be different from the next group, would be different from the next group. And it seemed over the period of time, you only ever encountered two of them. One of them was marked with a symbol of a large sun, and another with a paw print of a bear, were the two heraldry symbols that were organized incursions, essentially, through the lands. The rest were creatures or groups of creatures, even, that would come through the rift.
Would either Rye or I have knowledge of those two heraldry symbols? God, I can't talk today.
If Halberd would describe them, maybe. Does Halberd share any of this history, or?
Well, first, as I look around, what symbols are on this place now?
Yeah.
It's a half circle with lines sort of stylized shooting out from it. So like a sunset, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So not one that you
I
have.
know.
This
is not the Twilight Princess.
Twilight Empress. Difference.
Oh.
If the Twilight Empress had a daughter, would she be the Twilight Princess?
Eventide Empress.
Eventide Empress, not
Yeah,
Twilight.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know. We're having fun with this.
We can get
Being
guest star.
geeks, which is awesome, but a little off track.
So would Howard share with the symbols?
I don't know, because they're not the same. If that's something that he would just be like, hey, do you know what this symbol means? As much as he's undergoing a lot of
that's fine. If you don't, that's fine.
contemplation.
Lauren, you said last week that we were aware that the Eventide Empress was a relatively young Archfey.
Yep.
Is there a timeline we have for that, like young in reference to the past 150 years, or young as in more of like only 1,000?
You and Val can both make intelligence checks if you like.
That's a very good point. Not bad.
That was terrible.
Youngest relative.
Just straight intelligence?
If you want to put it in a specific category, sell me on it.
Mine's 16.
I was going to say the only category would not make that I would put it in would not make a difference. So no. Mine's a modified 20.
Okay. You know that Archfey, or Fey in particular, age differently, closer to elves, but even more long-lived. Once they reach a certain power and maturity level, they're essentially immortal. And once they hit that, that's when if they accrue enough of a domain and enough power, that's when they sort of make the transition and are able to call themselves an Archfey. Archfey are typically, like, their lifespans are measured in millennia. So if she's young for an Archfey, she's probably at least at least has reached a millennia, 1,000 years old.
Okay.
Could be past that. You don't know how long she lived as a Fey before she gained her title.
I was going to say, would we have an idea of how long she has been acknowledged as an Archfey? Since the beginning of time?
Not since the beginning of time. She's been an Archfey for as long as she's been on your radar. Like, you haven't really heard stories of her rise to power.
Okay. Looking around outside the gate, but looking into the city, does it look like there are military patrols, town's guard, soldiers, anything like that seems to be wandering around the town?
The gate is armed. There are soldiers put in this, not quite plate armor, but this heavy armor with this sort of sunset symbol emblazoned on the chest that do patrol the walls. You would guess there are likely patrols internally as well, but you can't really see from your vantage point.
No. Okay. Can you commune today?
As a matter of fact, I believe I can.
We have questions, and
yeah, you're not wrong. Yes, I can. Ha ha ha! Rock on me.
I mean, it might not be a bad way if we can somehow get some answers from someone who kind of controls this area. It might not be a bad way.
Yeah, let's.
I don't know what
can we find a?
Still before we get into the city.
Yeah, that's.
There are a number of buildings that are set outside the city walls. You see some that are designed to provide mounts, some that are sort of way stations and stopovers for when the gates are closed. There's still places for people to be. There are food merchants and a couple of other vendors. There's a messenger service out here. And that's apart from all of the agricultural buildings that are here also.
I was gonna say, is there just a little ways off the road that we can see, maybe even from the field towards the direction Halberd came from? Is there just like a clear spot that we could sit down at? Kind of like kind of like just a little clear spot where people aren't going to run into us.
Yeah, easily. You can step a little ways off the road and get some room to talk or some privacy.
All right, let's go that direction, and I'll set up for commune.
How many questions do we get?
If he's setting up for commune, I'm just gonna wander over towards the gates.
Okay.
3 yes or no's.
Fade back with the crew for a couple minutes while he gets everything set up, and pull out my disguise kit and just change a couple of features, so just in case.
Okay. Roll for your disguise kit. That'll be a d20 plus your proficiency modifier plus your dexterity. Val, do you have your questions in mind already?
I'm discussing that while
you'll do that. Right, you're headed to the gate.
Just gonna wander over there.
So, yeah.
Okay. What was your roll, Halberd?
Modified 20.
Modified 20. Just on yourself? You're just slightly altering your features.
Mhm.
Yeah, easily successful. And you've aged a little bit since the last time you've been here, so you're kind of exaggerating that. Describe what you want to look like now.
Oh goodness, probably just change
Kurt
up
Reynolds.
the facial structure, because when I was here previously, didn't have a beard, so the beard helps quite a bit. Change up a little bit of like the nose, potential like just facial structure,
Mhm.
just so it doesn't look like me. You know,
Okay.
taking time to just really like, take off the beard and take all these things off. Yeah, you can find me, but just when someone's looking at me across the room, they're not going to be like, oh, I recognize this guy, even though I shouldn't be recognized. And I wasn't on bad terms when everything went down. Did better to say it.
Okay. Sure thing. Yeah, you're successful in your endeavors to alter your facial features and slightly adjust your bone structure.
I wander off with Rye as well.
All right,
Just
you head
'cause
to the gate
they're
also.
Yeah.
Okay. So you two head up to the gate, and what are you doing?
I'm gonna start walking through, and if they stop me, I will talk to them.
They don't stop you.
Okay. I'm gonna walk in and just kind of take a look around at what's inside this city.
Sure thing. So as you start walking through the gate, the
I'm
dwarf
following.
the dwarf does get a slightly odder look, because you're in your elf disguise, right?
I am, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So Doran gets a little bit of an odder look, but with being in your company, he is not stopped. You head in and you can see where you leave the walls behind and the city sort of opens up before you. It is built a little bit on an angle, set into a hill a little bit, and the road that you can see looks like it moves forward a little bit and then winds. And it seems like the road itself angles back and forth, leading generally towards the castle that is set at the apex of the hill. There is, from what you can tell, not a single straight road that leads to the sort of the heart of the city where the castle is at. It's very defensible. You can see what looks to be like another smaller wall that is set around what might be the housing district, the more wealthier cities and businesses that are set closest to the castle itself that likely serve those who live there. You are sort of overwhelmed as you enter with the scent of various foods, with the number of people that are sort of moving around. You hear a large number of voices. You hear music. String and flute with drums driving the rhythm. There are bright colors and a whirl of light and sound. There are people, beings that you see walking through these streets, these shorter humanoid fey creatures that are with slightly dusky bluish skin, with long extended ears that move at rapid speeds. You see elven folk and those who are like elven, but like the epitome of elves, with very sharply refined features and an almost ethereal beauty. They carry themselves smoothly and with grace as they walk. You see much smaller folk, various brightly colored skin tones of green and brown and red and blue. Some of them are winged, who have these brightly colored like dragonfly or butterfly wings that carry them through the streets. Others are not winged, but a fair number of them seem to be riding mounts of some kind. You see some small, I say small, but large for their kind, rabbits or hares that carry some of these. You see some of these that are riding these canine creatures, golden tawny with lightly colored breasts, elongated bodies to set the saddle on, and very, very fluffy, that are just short legs as they're racing around through the city carrying these fey folk on their backs.
Did you just describe giant corgis?
You have no idea.
You're not
I
there.
don't know what a corgi is.
They're still outside the walls.
That
Welsh corgis are traditionally known for carrying fey folk on their missions. Look up fey battle corgis. It's delightful. You see a number of what look to be almost dwarves. Shorter than Doran is now, but stocky in a way most Fae aren't. They walk around, most seem to be grim of face, and universally these folk have these dark red hats that they wear on their heads. You see some that are mostly humanoid, but have goat legs or deer legs. You see some that are mostly humanoid, but have vulpine or feline ears. You see some that are humanoid but aged, look like older, decrepit ladies that still have this fey element to them in how they move and in how they shift as they're walking.
I'm uncomfortable now.
So the things that have the red hats, personal curiosity, is it like a red or more of like a dried blood red?
They vary in shade. There does definitely seem to be some of them that are that more brownish, irony colored red.
Okay.
And even the ones that are brighter seem to have elements of that darker brownish red.
Wow, Lauren. Okay.
And those are mostly the dwarven-looking folk?
Yes.
Red caps. Okay.
100% yes.
Oh God.
I don't understand this, but I'm scared
From what you can see, even here at the entrance of the city, you can smell and see and hear shops of all imaginable types, food and herbs. You can see clothing and leather and jewelry shops. You hear calls for barbers and hairstylists. You think you can see up the road just a ways what looks to be a pet shop of some kind. There are inns and taverns. There's little venues selling all sorts of art. Anything that is brightly colored or beautiful or exquisitely crafted seems to have a place here in the city. What are you doing? You're just standing here taking it all in?
I think after that, I'm probably actually going to head back to see if I can speak to one of the guards by the door.
Okay.
I'm kind of just hanging out with her right now.
Okay. Yeah, this is all, it's overwhelming how much there is to see. There is an extravaganza of color and sound as these folks seem to just take joy in being as boisterously unique and true to themselves as they can be.
Approaching the guard, I will hail him.
I've been to
Good sir. Have you a moment to talk?
You see, you approach an elven guard. Looks to be a slightly younger woman. She turns towards you and greets you. Hail and well met. I have a moment for a fair travel to our city.
Thank you. That's very kind. We come here actually on a bit of a journey to find someone who has themselves traveled to the Feywild, though I must admit, the little bit I've seen has me very intrigued. I heard there's a party that happens here.
Our Empress throws a gala eternally for those who would visit.
Oh, goodness, I would love to see that. That sounds absolutely fabulous. Is that something that I would be able to get into?
If you have the means.
What are the means?
Present yourself at the gate, and if you have the demeanor and reason to enter, the guards shall let you enter.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Or, it's greatly appreciated. It's really hard because Brenda's used to saying thank you for everything.
I think this is specifically to make it harder for people who are generally polite. Because I was thinking about how we would talk to people all week.
Yeah.
And then I texted something to Lauren, and it's just like, oh no, I made a problem for myself. This is bad.
She does not say thank you. She says greatly appreciated.
She knows that.
Give her some candy.
while I am here, the reason we arrived in the first place, we were sent in search of a work compatriot of one of our fellows, and we were told that he came through here probably about a year ago and unfortunately made offense to her ladyship. While we understand that there are things that are done that I can see how he might have offended, we were hoping just to get word of him so that we might take it back to his master to close out that chapter. I'm sure you'll understand. So I was wondering if you might have seen him come through, and I give a brief description.
No names.
You give the description, and it's not until you get to the tattoo on his left arm where her eyes sort of light up. It's like, oh, you speak of the Arcanist. Yes.
Oh, that's not good.
So he has come through here.
Frequently.
Oh, how interesting.
He visits our fair city on many occasions. I had heard, as you said, he displeased her ladyship.
Oh, goodness. Do you know what happened?
Oh, he interfered in a ruling of her judgment, I believe.
Ugh. We are not nobles in this place. That is so problematic. How dare he?
Are you... How honest are you being in your recrimination of his actions?
I don't know that I would necessarily say she's being dishonest, but more that she's playing to the politics of the area. So.
Okay. As you look, you see a sort of a gleam in the guard's eye, where she has sort of acknowledged and taken into account your politeness and civility in discoursing with her and the caution you take with your words, especially as an outsider. But there's an awareness there now of the relation that you're trying to curry.
Well, I do thank you for your time. I do appreciate your time. Be well and have a good evening. And I'll head back out.
She wishes you a pleasant evening also, and safe travels.
Rye is gonna get herself in so much trouble.
Brenda is going to get Rye in trouble.
As long as you correct yourself before I have the opportunity to play with y'all a little bit. I'm being gracious. This is interesting and new for all of us, and we'll just have fun. So you head back out to your group.
The nicer of the DMs.
I would have been a wonderful
All right, Val, you are communing.
I am communing.
When there's a moment, I have a question I want to ask Rye, but go on.
Okay, we'll get to that here in just a minute. You feel the presence of Cyanine dimly. You know, this is not her. She is here. She hears you. She is aware of you. But you get the sense that this is not her strongest domain. You know that her power waxes and wanes with the phases of the moon. You would guess that this is not her strongest time, necessarily. Nevertheless, she is present and listening.
All right. Trying to think of the order here. Sorry. Research first, right? Okay. Can we find the research we're looking for without talking to the Eventide Empress? It's a research, not researcher.
Mm-hmm. A gleam of light catches your eye and draws it to the light and the colors that are shining off of the white stone that comprises the palace, the castle at the top of the hill.
I'm going to take that as a no. Would the Empress welcome us as guests?
You get a warm breeze at your back that seems to be pushing and gesturing towards the castle again.
Okay.
It's not cold, it's not frigid, it doesn't raise goosebumps on the back of your neck. You get the sense that possibly.
Should we approach directly rather than remain anonymous?
See, as DM, I don't like it when you ask me these questions because I feel like y'all are wanting me to tell you what to do.
No,
we're asking the deity.
We're asking the deity who is interested in my well-being and, not dying.
Hmm.
Would the deity who is interested in keeping my ass alive tell me, yes, it's better to approach directly rather than remain anonymous?
How would Sayani respond to this? That is an excellent question.
No, don't do stupid.
Since we're here,
That's a great question.
mm-hmm.
Would Val know that since he's been in the Feywild?
Quite possibly. Val, here's how this goes. The warm breeze continues to blow, but it swirls around you briefly, and you're hit in the face with a leaf. An oak leaf.
That was me.
It is bright green, beautifully verdant, like it just came off of a large, well-established tree. You peel it off, and you're facing in the direction of the gates, and through the gates beyond it, at the top of the hill, you see the castle. You're brought to mind that Sayani likes to speak in omens, and the last time you tried something like this, she was trying to give you a message about an acorn. You get the sense that she's kind of saying...
Did I just get a big old duh?
Mm-hmm.
Not a duh, but a whatever. The problem with commune is it's so limited. It's a yes, no, or unknown, right?
Yeah, yes, no, or unclear.
I want to clarify this for you. Like, as DM, I want to...
It's you know what? As DM, the D and deity, you're allowed to!
It's essentially make a choice. It's unclear whether she's pushing you in one direction or the other, but there's a general don't be stupid.
But it's us.
Taking in all you know of the Fae, because you lived here for an extended period of time. You lived among these type of people. You know that they appreciate respect and despise deception.
That is very helpful. Thank you. Okay, so I will wrap up my commune.
I think that's something that I do like about the Fae then.
Right. And turn to who's still with me? Is it just Soliex or?
Yeah.
Solix, and then Halberd is nearby also.
Okay. I'll
Where's
just
Gator?
turn to them.
Peripheral. He caught the sound of the music And he's kind of outside the city gates, but he's sort of taking notes about the interplay of the instruments, and just his bardic mind is off in the clouds.
As we're walking past, I'm gonna hook an arm and just drag him back to the group with me.
Okay. So he comes back to the group with you. Doran, there had been something you wanted to ask, right?
Yeah, I got food in my mouth. So I kind of like tug her sleeve, like, hey, personal question, pull her aside kind of thing.
Yes, darling.
Before we came in here, we had conversation of rules and things we were meant to avoid. Information that we did not want to disclose to people. From what we learned back there about dressing appropriately, I just had a bit of a... I think we might have a problem if they're going to force us to change attire or something. If I'm meant to be part of this at all. I might have to ask a wee favour of you.
Are you asking me to buy clothes for you, darling?
No, that's not it at all.
Oh, how unfortunate.
So, I mean, anyway.
Shut up!
No. The armor, I can't be having any of them look at it too closely. I have her lean down and I whisper in her ear, I'm gonna text you.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Done.
So,
Is this about the armor detail you had texted me about?
indeed.
Okay, yeah.
So I tell her that, I whisper it to her.
Okay.
And then, if that magic trunk of yours, that goes somewhere where people can't reach it, aye?
Yes, darling.
I might have to dispose of a few items into that trunk, if that's all right.
Do you have items that you could use to replace it in the meantime?
If need be, yes, I'm sure we can dig out the steel armor if I have to.
If that's what you would like, darling. The other thing I can think of is armor is not necessarily problematic in these circumstances if you make it look particularly nice, so we can always see if we can find something to dress it up a little bit that would cover certain areas if need be. But as you are comfortable, darling, I am more than open to it.
I just don't want to remove this part. Okay?
Understandable.
So, yes. Anyway, moving on. Thank you.
As y'all are finishing this discussion and coming back to the rest of the group, Val has just finished his commune. What are y'all doing?
Well,
I will relay the results of the commune. It looks like everything we've been sent to find is sitting in the castle of the Empress. Doesn't look like we'll be able to get one without the other. And it doesn't look like we'll be able to avoid talking to Her Royal Highness.
As long as we're polite, it seems we'll be okay.
away.
And I did learn myself, I'm not entirely sure what the ruling was, but apparently the Arcanist, who we are here to find, interfered with her ladyship in ruling, in a ruling she made against a subject matter.
Oh, dear lords.
That is something that we should be mindful of, that if we are looking to get both the Arcanist and the research out, we're going to be dealing with quite a large offense on his part.
Research is the priority.
Just out of curiosity, that's a very good statement, but are we willing to cut our loss with the researcher and consider this mission a success with returning with just the research, or Which hill are we dying on?
Well, per the request, in case Tor can correct me if I'm wrong on this,
but
but it was stated that research is, we have to at least get the research. If we get the Arcanist with it, that's nice. But if we come back with only the research, then the mission is still a success.
The fact of the matter...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Kaysator's talking.
Kaysator clarifies a little bit that the tone of the letter was more the researcher was sort of the priority. If you could get him alive, if you could get him out, that is far preferred. If he is dead already or inescapably stuck, then the research is the
don't worry about it.
least saving some sort of his legacy, essentially.
Inescapably imprisoned to a fey creature for upsetting her.
An archfey, nonetheless.
Right.
We don't know that it's necessarily inescapable. I think if we were to have an opportunity to have an audience with her and present to her what we were sent to do, and indicate the fact that we have no interest in interfering with her, just finding out what is attainable.
And that's why I wanted to bring up this discussion. This needed to be decided before we go in, not in the moment.
What do we do?
I don't think that's even something that we can plan for, because this is an archfey creature. I mean, she could want our souls for all we know.
Well, okay, here's the question, though. What do we not give? We get in there. She asks for who knows what in exchange for her prisoner, possibly. What can we say without a doubt that once we get in there, that is a no?
Our lives, I would believe, be the line we cannot cross.
Do we have any material items that we're not willing to part with that would be better put in a bag?
I feel like your shield would be one of those.
I don't know how much an archfey would be interested in taking a shield of Bahamut. It's connected to a deity itself, which might be problematic for her.
Although, for an archfey, that also may be a temptation. It's something that is personally connected to his emotions and his calling.
I think as long as I don't say anything, that won't.
I'm going to...
That would be... Yeah, that's fair.
I also don't even know what the offense was, or rather, what the ruling was.
That I have.
Maybe it's something we can help rectify?
Item. Roll that up and place that in your bag.
All right. Yep, I'll take that.
So I put that little puzzle orb
Mm-hmm.
inside the bag.
Puzzle orb in your wedding.
Yep.
What did you say, Garrett?
Good call.
We don't know what the ruling that was overturned. Maybe that's something we need to find out first.
True.
She might ask us to help fix it.
This is true.
Rectify what he ruined.
All right.
I'm saying the first thing to do is to go present ourselves to her. Now, we know that Archfey in particular, as with most fey creatures, abhor deception.
Mm-hmm.
So, in our words to her, it would be preferable not to talk around subjects. Be as direct as possible, as honest as possible, not revealing anything that would give her power over us, but rather to do things we are not typically comfortable with, which is be upfront.
I think as long as we're in here, I would say you and Rai takes the forefront in conversation.
So that would...
Y'all have the most experience in dealing with people here. So
I just don't want to make another mistake.
I think the two of you, perhaps maybe our librarian, take the lead in conversing.
With him saying that, I'm actually going to utter my password, Cora, and change my armor to its natural look.
Okay.
So default setting, not trying to use any of the illusion magic.
Okay.
That being said, looking over at Halberd's disguised face, would my experience, would I think that would be an affront to them? Or would I think that... Do what?
I said if he got caught.
Oh. I'm going to leave this up to you, but my recommendation would be to present how you are, not in any disguise. That being said, if this is of that much of a significance that you're willing to take the risk, that's going to be up to you.
I think anything if your disguise is outed, honesty for the purpose of the disguise might be your best save.
That, yes.
But I guess there's nothing left to do but move in then.
I'll look at you, nod, take off the disguise, put the hood back, display the bow, the double short swords, and go full-on soldier.
Okay.
Do you have an emblem of your station as Guardian?
I want to say yes, but I don't know. It's been so long. I don't know if I would have had a rank or insignia, and I also don't know if that would be even important anymore. So,
you have my thought was creating connection.
I don't know about connection. Like the display of a soldier is the connection that I will have, but I'm not going to walk in under like a display of a symbol of another country, because that could be taken as an affront. I'm not an ambassador, and I technically do not believe that I have a country, so to wear that would not be.
The connection is the knowledge he holds of this place.
That's fair. I'm going to pull out both the Wolf's Head necklace and the Sanctum necklace. And speaking of which, I'm going to reach into the satchel and touch the necklace to the journal that I've still got.
Okay.
Do I get a ping?
Box of awesome.
Yes.
Why do I hate you so much right now? Oh! Which direction?
I'm
gonna hate you so much, aren't I?
a little bit.
In the castle.
Heading towards the castle.
Hey, I called it! Yahtzee!
Alright.
I will relay that information. So the journal that we thought was gone seems to also be headed that direction.
Val?
It just got complicated.
Is it that journal or is it a journal?
Well, there's only one left that I'm missing.
You know that there are the entire library of journals was scattered. It was not just you who.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Everywhere. It was all of them.
So but it is a Sanctum journal connected to our Sanctum.
You don't know. You know that multiple sanctums have journals or other artifacts that resonate on the same sort of frequency. It could very well be one from your sanctum. It might not. You don't know.
Oh, this
resonating with the same sort of frequency that your journals did, but.
Oh, that's
here's
and Lauren with the fourth dimensional chess move.
This is some Star Trek chess.
Here's the
like 200 IQ plays, Lauren.
Librarian.
Yes, darling.
Is your library
Big brain time.
In the same way that ours does?
I don't believe so, Lauren.
It did at one point. You know the history of the library. It had journals and other artifacts that it used to anchor the pathways.
Well, I'm thinking our symbol.
Like our tree symbol.
Do you have a symbol that you could touch to the book and see if you get a reading in the same way that we do?
Oh. You have the pendant. If you want to share that, you don't have to.
I mean, they can see it, so.
Mhm.
I was gonna say
Okay.
that's how I knew you were a Sanctum
Mhm.
person.
I didn't know if
saw
it was
that.
connected. I don't know things about sanctums, but I mean that might be a test. If she touches it and gets no ping, then perhaps it is related to ours specifically. If she does get a ping, then I don't know. But
I'll take it off to see, but at the same time, I'm also gonna do that whole connection to the library to be like, is this something I need to be aware of?
So you attune your pendant to the journal, right?
Mm-mm.
You do get a ping. You also, in your connection to the library, you get a negative sense, sort of negating not the libraries, you're pretty sure. But you can track it, you can trace that frequency.
Do you share that with us, or?
It's not one of mine. I would actually be quite surprised if it was, because there's absolutely no way it would be here, and I'm the only librarian in the district.
That's fair. Good to know, though.
But there's an answer,
Yes.
or at least half of one.
Blast.
Let's go.
All right. Librarian, do you have your magic trunk of disappearing things?
Yes.
I wasn't the only one.
I don't know how comfortable I am walking around with a very powerful artifact strapped to my side,
Hold on. There's a reason we don't put it in the bag.
but right now it's in a protective case.
There's still a reason why we don't put it in the bag.
Oh, darling, it'll be fine in my trunk. I guarantee that.
I don't like that smile, Lord.
I like when she says that there's not any side.
Can I insight check the DM on that?
Does your trunk go to an extra-dimensional place?
The ethereal plane.
Make an insight check.
That would be a 28.
Rye seems very confident in this affirmation that it'll be fine.
Okay, can I insight check the DM?
I mean, if
It's
this
not
is-
helping, Lord.
If this is what you desire to do, that's fine. I'm taking 10 feet back because I have had this bag long enough. I know its properties, and I know I need to be 10 feet away in case it sucks everything away.
That's fair.
Put a bag inside a bag in a 10-foot portal that sucks everything to a horrible place.
Right, are
Wait.
you
All the time with
are
the
you
bag.
confident that this bag will not do that?
Am I confident? What bag?
The satchel that I've got that we built.
Putting a magic.
It's a box, not a
Yeah,
satchel.
Okay,
I
box.
built a
Safe,
steel box.
essentially.
It's a box in a satchel.
It's a box in a satchel.
It's got a cloth covering over it.
It's a man purse with a hard briefcase. It's a briefcase. There we go.
It has
I don't remember making
I'll-
that, but
I'll reach out and take it from you and be like, darling, I am abundantly confident because you didn't notice it whenever I had one last time. So,
Oh. You win. Would you mind putting this in your magic trunk?
not at all, darling.
Thank you.
And I'll
Last
go
thing we
ahead
need
and
to do
summon
is
it.
give an archfey something that can create portals to other worlds.
Okay. She already has one.
Yeah, let's not make it worse.
Can we go now?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
And I'll let Halberd kind of direct us which way to go, but kind of keeping Rye towards the front of the talking group.
Okay.
checking
I
my
leads
gear.
you into the city through the gates without a problem. Where are you headed?
Well, just salute. Elvis military salute on the way in.
Okay. They give a respectful nod as you salute and permit you entrance.
We're gonna go head to the castle. This is so dumb. We're all gonna die.
On the way.
I did have a moment to talk with the god, and they suggested that we have demeanor, appearance, and reason to be there. I would question if we currently have the appearance.
Well, I mean, we're all in our
Sunday best.
yeah, we're all in our finest gear. Not entirely sure that is. Yeah, that's kind of my
This is
point.
travel clothes, darling.
Yeah,
not fit for a Fey.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you other than to say that I'm not sure we have. We have to go clothes shopping, don't we?
Nope.
Well,
Brandon wanted to show clothes shopping after all.
Christine, this is damn near ceremonial.
Yeah, see, mine always has an illusion, so.
I'm basically wearing Wranglers, and that's okay.
Someone showing up to Easter service.
It's up to you. If you would like to just walk straight up to see us get turned away, that's perfectly fine.
Unless they appreciate reality, in which case trying to dress.
I'm standing there
It's
trying
so
to.
delightful, darling. Appreciate reality in the Feywild.
Right, you and I both know that this is not going to work, isn't it?
All right. Let me just say, cleric. Names need.
He didn't say Rye. He
No.
didn't. That's an illusion.
He's using his non-telekinetic communication.
Yeah, I forgot that I'm not using telekinesis or telepathy. Can't use the words.
We
All right,
need
let's go do some
headbands of Wi-Fi.
upgrades
Right.
for shopping.
I miss my telepathy, Lord.
Go buy some clothes.
I'm more than happy to make this from a game standpoint very quick because I have a feeling
Yeah, because
in
this
this
is not exciting.
circumstance,
Yep.
Rye's going to be walking them through places and just like throwing clothes at them like, you wear this, you'll wear this, you'll wear this. Oh, this will look lovely on you.
Oh no, this is definitely mom taking the kids shopping.
For the record,
Okay.
I'm still wearing my armor. I'm just, instead of my travel cloak, I'm going to be buying one of those really nice, like,
Yeah, because your armor at least is like super clean.
yeah, I clean it every day. And it's like,
Yeah.
Mine's made out of bling, so
Yeah, yours is like brand spanking new.
I'm just getting like that
Yeah.
fancy, that like super fancy ass like cloak thing going on with
No.
it. So
I'm gonna
put all my
put on whatever Rye tells me to put on. I'm
Okay.
gonna regret those words.
shopping montage.
I put on what Wright tells me to put on that I agree with that I would actually wear.
All right. So let's do this. Rye, Val's already given you permission to dress him. How do you dress him?
I regret this.
Don't
I know Sayanine is a moon goddess, right?
Yes.
I'm loving this, by the way. This is really funny.
I think I would probably try and find for him something that is dark blue, like a night sky, but it's got kind of this silver, shimmery sort of affect to it that would reminiscent of like the moon in its full glory. And just something that would go very nicely with his armor. So that he's still able to wear the armor. It's just dressing it up a little bit. With Celiax, I would be, like he's talking about, trying to find him a really nice cape. If they've got something that's kind of scaled and shimmery to represent the fact that he is dragonborn and that he follows Bahamut, trying to find something like that.
What color?
blue with silver accents.
Okay. You can find a very like rich, almost iridescent blue that is trimmed with literal silver thread to
Yep.
give a scaled sort of effect.
Looks
Just
like
gonna throw that at him. Buy this.
stuff.
It's got a silver chain that connects it from one shoulder down to the other side.
I guess.
With Kazator, it's gonna be like a nice, I think they're called jambesons, where they've got kind of the quilting on it and very like rich, brilliant colors. You know, like a really deep red and a nice gold. For Halberd, I think I would be trying to find something that's more forest colors that has kind of a military cut. So it's still, it looks nice and it's nice fabric and nice styling, but it is more of that military cut with the sharp lines.
Mm-hmm. Bless you. You're good.
I'm sorry.
The sharp lines and the piping and everything, but it's more on that dress style, so it's not trying to make him look like he's one of the guard. It's just emphasizing that military style. And then for Doran specifically, I want to see if I can find something. Garrett, the thing you're talking about, is it on the outside or the inside of the chest plate against?
It's inside.
Okay.
It's right against me.
If I can find something, that kind of wraps around the chest plate.
Yeah.
To cover that on the inside, and then either a cape or accents that would go on the rest of his armor. And for Doran, I would probably do where like halberd is more of a forest green, a little bit more muted colors. For Doran, doing like a richer green,
like a nice brighter sort of emerald green.
Unless he has something else he would like.
It's like the metal's silver blue, so whatever goes.
We're gonna do a real nice rich green. It'll go well with that.
Mm-hmm.
Green, because cash money.
Fan art.
It just occurred to me while I was laughing earlier. 2 episodes ago was our like shopping episode. Last week was the date. Now this is the fashion show.
Yes.
Right. What are you wearing?
So normally she's
Librarian.
That wasn't said out loud. That was just.
So I just,
Normally-
what are you wearing?
she's got a
Players.
like thigh length vest on for the library, so it would be replacing that and then getting a really nice jacket, like beautiful floor length velvet jacket, in a rich black to go with the library.
You find one, and it's almost like, you know how some dragonflies have the black, but it's got like all the other colors mixed into it. You find one that is just a combination of every color, and it is rich, beautiful black velvet. Do you have are you leaving it to hang loose? Do you have it tied with a belt?
Oh no, it's loose and open. We're sticking with that whole like pirate thing that they were joking about with her minis.
Okay. Very nice, very nice.
Right.
Yeah. All told, you can go ahead and find everything.
Oh yes.
There are options for haggling with this. You can speak to the Fae, and their first question is who's paying. The second question, are you paying with gold or intangibles? Most of these you can find in a shop that deals in memories. So they're wanting memories of, the day of your 3rd birthday, or your memory of the color that's not quite blue and not quite green, but the perfect blend between the two of them.
Val,
like that.
Val is actually going to volunteer the memories.
Okay, are you paying for all of them? Or just for yours?
Oh, okay, remind me, because I don't think we brought this up in our discussion. Is this a shared, or is this a surrendering?
This is a surrendering.
Okay, yeah. No, Val is very much paying for all of it.
Okay. So you're losing your 3rd birthday. That particular shade of blue-green, where it's not blue and it's not green, but is that perfect blend between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
You're losing the coldest winter day you've ever experienced. You're losing the first candlelight you ever saw. Hold on, that's 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're losing the color of the sun on the first day of summer of your 12th year. And you're losing you're surrendering, I should say. You're paying them the color of your father's hair.
Okay.
Dang.
Okay.
So here's a question.
That was like all innocuous stuff, and then wait a minute.
Does that now have a hair color or not? And if so, does he picture him bald?
No, he knows. He knows. Cortana had he's got the hairstyle, he's got the texture, he's got the feel of it, and he knows it was a dark color.
It's like when you
But
can't remember if someone's got blue or green eyes.
Yeah. You know it was dark, but just that specific color, you wouldn't be able to pick it out. You wouldn't, like, describing it to an artist, you'd be lost for words. You wouldn't quite understand. You wouldn't quite be able to place it.
Is this like Suffering Game? Could we not just remind him what Homeboy looked like, or
You could
is it
try.
just gone?
No, you would have to show him a picture. That's the only way he and then he would only ever remember the picture.
Someone quick get ye old fantasy Polaroids.
No, Val very, very quickly and confidently surrenders those memories.
Okay.
Okay.
All right then.
And as I get the one for Doran, I will lean towards him and say, will this be suitable, or would you still like to do what we had discussed previously?
We'll go ahead and take care of it this way.
Very well.
Loop it through, do the thing, tie it back, all the whatever to cover stuff.
Yep.
Now we got fancy ass clothes.
Yay.
Now we go
We styling and profiling. We
So
looking
this takes
so crisp.
we'll say about 3 hours worth of shopping before you find everything that you're satisfied with. And as you're shopping and as you're going, you do get a feel for the sort of trade and bartering system that is in place here, at least in this particular domain. You know that some Fae are more tangibly motivated, where they're good with trading items, especially things that they don't often see or haven't seen or felt or smelled or tasted before. Some don't mind taking gold, especially those who are able to work with that and transform that material. But a lot of what they do, the deals that they make, are for more intangible items. Some take the memories, and some deal in emotions. Some deal in senses, the smell of a certain flower or perfume, things like that. And these are all things that you know as gain the knowledge of as you're bartering. You're not offered it in particular, but you do pass other places where trades are made for services or favors instead. But those seem to be like very large ticket items, perchance. The one that caught your attention was for a shop that dealt with decorative or ceremonial blades, it looked like, specializing in, I'm going to butcher how this is said, but athames of layered brass. Doran, actually, make a perception check.
I need my
with your add proficiency to it if you're not already proficient in perception. This is a dwarven specialty thing where it's not specifically stone, but you've smithed enough that this is something I'm gonna give you proficiency with.
Perception. Should I use blue, red, metal, or my yeet dice?
Metal. You want to use metal for this.
There we go. You right. Perception is 0, but I get to have my...
Add your proficiency.
So that's a 14.
Okay. Good deal, good deal. It's enough to notice you do not see any iron in any of the shops. Especially, it kind of surprises you in this knife shop with the different ceremonial blades.
What is it made out of? What are they using?
Brass, frequently. There are some that are perfectly gold or silver. There's one that looks to be platinum. And that's sort of why they're so ceremonial. You're not getting the sense of iron particularly here. Brass
I got-
seems to be the.
I got 3 ingots of iron.
You do have 3 ingots of iron.
That could be handy. That could be bargaining
DM.
with people.
Yes.
Because that
Brass
just
is-
rang a bell in Jay's brain. Would that would Val be right to remember how Fae and Iron interact?
Not all Fae, but some, yes.
Okay. That might be good to let the group know that how to
They don't
put
like
it.
iron?
Yeah. Some
Do you
Fae are-
say anything?
Yes, I'm.
Do I?
Some of the residents here might be rather allergic to the material of iron. It might behoove us to keep it covered unless accosted. There are those that might take offense.
I endeavor to cover the axe with my cape.
There are those that might take offense to its presentation. Yeah.
Well, don't come at us, bro.
Yes. Oh no.
Which clearly was not in Dwarven.
Is fantastic.
If accosted,
All the yeet the iron in the face.
They'll be like little hand grenades.
Apply
Sad
iron to your
for
face
them.
repeatedly.
I mean, just enough to make them start sneezing.
Exactly. All right. Thusly, we march on.
Thus attired,
Like a
in your wondrous new garb, you do make your way
so stylish.
up, winding through the city streets, up to the gates of the wall surrounding the palace district. And we're going to go ahead and pause here and take a break as y'all begin to head into this heart of the Eventide Empress's domain. So we'll be back here shortly. Thanks for hanging around, and we'll see you in just a few minutes. Bye, guys. And welcome back, everybody. So we will go ahead and we will get right back into the thick of it. So you have gotten your fancy duds. You have equipped them. You are prepared to head into the...
It worked that time.
if you get the reference, you're awesome. You're prepared to head into the palace district of this city. You make your way through the winding roads. You walk past a number of other shops selling sculptures and paintings and books and paper arts, past quality cobblers and hairstylists, various inns and taverns selling or shops selling small stained glass pieces and metalwork. You pass one particularly darkly lit shop tucked a little way off the road. It catches your attention a little bit. It advertises curses for sale.
Wait, say that again. It advertises what?
Walking.
Curses?
Lord,
I know how to do those in Infernal.
while we're walking, but
Working
while
it.
we're walking, I want to be taking note of the streets and the roads and just see how much of this is actually familiar to what was. So just have that on record.
Right. As you're walking through the city, the layout of the roads is virtually identical. A lot of the larger establishments, the building themselves, remain the same or very similar. The layout and the bones of the city remain largely untouched, unchanged from what you remember. What resides in those places has changed and shifted a little bit. What once was an inn might still be an inn, but it's under a different name. There's different clientele. You glance through a window and see what looks to be different owners or managers at the taking names at the desk area, working with the ledgers. While the structure of the city remains unchanged, the people who live there have adapted and made it their own. Are you familiar with the Japanese art of kintsugi? where you
Yes.
take something that has been broken and you mend it in such a way, traditionally with gold, where you, rather than trying to hide and diminish the appearance of the cracks, it accentuates them and makes them stand out, and it's beautiful. Elements of how the city has been repaired and rebuilt remind you of that, where you can see the damage that was done when the city fell, but it has been healed over in such a way, rebuilt in such a way, that you can tell that the scars are still there, but the stonework that they have imported in and the way that they have repaired things and slightly altered just the form of the buildings to make it their own and to give it a much stronger Fey aesthetic is beautiful.
Do I recognize?
Go ahead, Dorn.
I was just asking if I recognized the stone and anything of significance to it.
It's a very similar stone throughout the city. What you had seen largely from the outside, this white stone that...
It was from like a mountain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know, to be a mountain-based stone, that the formation there is formed by heat and pressure underground, where the layers of sediment are calcified essentially to bring the minerals to the surface, where they blend and give it this white aesthetic, and then the light hits it in such a way as to cause those minerals to reveal color and colored veins throughout the stone.
So it's like 90s hologram, the rock.
Sure, yeah. You're not wrong.
I'm definitely not.
But it's consistent. Wherever this stone came from or was imported from isn't local, and it's been used in a fair amount of the repairs of the city itself.
Okay.
All right, y'all proceed through the streets. Are there any other stops you want to make?
Not stops, but as we're walking, what languages am I primarily hearing?
Elvish is a big one. Sylvan is another big one. There are some that are speaking in Common, but it's sporadic.
Okay.
There are a few other... Hold on, let me pull up my notes here.
Mm-hmm.
Right, there are a few other sort of mixes of languages that you can track that are based, it seems, in Elvish or Sylvan, but are have flavors of other languages also. You catch a few that have a flavor of primordial, look to be some sort of individuals of elemental descent or who have lived and been altered slightly on one of the elemental planes.
So, so all of these are languages I understand.
Okay.
I get the biggest thing I'm looking for is like if we pass guards or anything, what seems to be the language that they're conversing in?
Mostly Sylvan in this particular area.
Awesome.
Any other questions as we head through?
I want to take us, because I know the skeleton of the street, I'm guessing gate structures and everything and entryways would probably be the same. I want to take us to the most, like, open circumstance gate. The main gate leading in.
So you'll be heading to the High Gate of the Palace District. And it is well guarded. As you approach, you are stopped by the guards here at this gate who stopped you and looking you over. recognizing the two elves from what they see in the party. They speak to you in Elven. They say, "State your business."
I don't know what they said.
We come to see possibly joining in the party of the Eventide Empress. We are travelers from afar and have heard some glorious things about it and wanted to experience it for ourselves. And if a moment could be had, potentially discuss the situation we have come upon with the Empress herself. But obviously we understand she is quite busy. So if that is not it, we would love to just experience the glory of her party.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh my god.
That can't be good.
Natural.
That's a 10.
Oh!
Ooh.
Wow.
So as Rye is talking, you can see the guard, and this is a Fey guard, in full regalia. You would guess of some rank here at his post. He is just very straight-faced as he's listening. And he informs you that the Empress is not currently receiving visitors. She is entertaining her guests. Have you an invitation?
We do not. We were unaware of the fact that an invitation was necessary. Our conversations we've had previously about this was that we could inquire at the gates to potentially join. So what would we need to do to receive an invitation?
Have you some gift or errand that would reward you with such an invitation? A service provided, perhaps, or a connection he would vouch for you on the inside?
DM,
Yes.
would my connection that from my previous time here have any connection with the Eventide Empress?
Probably not with the Empress herself, but you might be able to leverage a connection of your connection to get you inside.
I have an offhand question. This
Yes.
fool's wearing armor. What is? It's not iron. What is made of?
Brass, mostly. Gold elements also, but mostly brass.
Okay, that's good to know.
His subordinates seem to have brass and some bronze, but this brassy color seems to be most of the aesthetic of the Eventide Empress.
There's a structural reason we use steel.
Are there
It's good to know.
turning to our librarian, do you believe our connection with our target might warrant a meeting with the Empress, or how do you feel that would work out?
I was just about to inquire about that, darling.
I leave that to you.
I don't know, saying this to the guard, where this would fall along the lines of the invitation you had discussed, but the errand we had hoped to meet with the Eventide Empress about is in regards to the Arcanist. He has a connection back on the material plane in our world who was waiting and expecting him to return recently, and obviously he has not. And we learned of the situation that he found himself in here, and we do not wish to interfere with what the Eventide Empress has determined, but we come to seek a bit more information to bring back to his master on the material plane so that he may close this chapter. So if it would be possible to petition to meet with the Eventide Empress to discuss this.
The Arcanist's discipline is set to last another 3 cycles. If you wish to appeal, then you may make an appointment with the Empress's steward. If you shall surrender your weapons, a steward may be found at the gala. But your weapons are not permitted within.
May we have a moment to discuss our options.
He gestures for you to. There's a little alcove set to the side where you can sort of step out of the main thoroughfare. Coming up the way behind you, you can see one of these tiny fey creatures riding a little dog, one of the long little doggies, in exquisitely tooled leather tack, essentially, with all sorts of ribbon and decoration off of it. Salutes the guard and is waved through.
Turning to our group as we make our way out of the way. Librarian, I may have a connection that can help us get into the court, but someone who owes me a favor, and you know what that means here. That being said, if we can make our way in without calling on that particular favor, I believe that would be more advantageous to hold on to that. How much room can your magic trunk of disappearing things hold?
It can hold quite a bit, but I would recall back to the fact that they are not fans of deception, so I'm not sure that hiding it in a trunk and then smuggling it through would be a wise decision.
Well, we would only need them, quote-unquote, smuggled through if it came down to combat, which we are desperately trying to avoid here. So, in this particular instance, I'm not sure I would consider it smuggling as much as putting away.
If you would like to argue that difference with the guard at the gate, you are more than welcome to, but I have absolutely no interest in having on my person a weapon that they will then view as me deceiving them to regain entry.
I have a suggestion.
By all intents and purposes, we still have them.
If we're leaving them somewhere, we have to come back to get them, yes?
Mm-hmm.
What if you were to leave them with me? I'll stay out here.
As much as I appreciate the gesture, I'm not entirely sure that leaving one of our most powerful fighters, should things come down to an altercation, would be the best idea. That being said, it might not be a bad idea to spend in myself and possibly Halberd and Guardian and the librarian. I'm assuming we're alone and out of earshot.
You're off the way and it's relatively quiet, so
y'all can,
as private as you're gonna get off of
yeah. So y'all can smack me on that. That being said, if we're trying to set up an appointment, the three of us can go in, try and get our appointment.
Send Casey to Rye. Or Rye, do you have the ability to magically
Librarian.
Librarian. Do you have the ability to magically teleport in the way that the wordsmith does?
Are you talking about Dimension Door, darling?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So that being said, though,
I don't know the names of things.
yes, wordsmith, librarian, with librarian. What languages of the court are you familiar with?
With my familiarity and my understanding of Elvish, I can pick up a general sense of what's being said, but if you're asking for a direct translation, I would be of no use.
Fair enough. So with the languages that they speak around here, I happen to be fluent in most of them. With sending the wordsmith and the librarian, I think is a good idea. I think it'd also behoove us for me to go with as a translator.
Well, okay, what if just you and the librarian went in then?
That's fine. My reasoning for taking our guardian was simply his knowledge of the layout should we get ourselves in trouble.
Have you spent much time in the actual castle?
I know about the castle. I know I've been in there multiple times.
Okay. So what if
Well, I
the
also
four
know
of you
that-
were to go in? I'll stay out here with Doran, and then
I know these streets as well.
I'm gonna jump through this phone and strangle somebody
Yeah, Garrett's our like censorship.
because I've already made the mistake once before.
Hearing this in game, and he goes, Celiax goes, Doran, ah!
I'm not going to get into any trouble, and I'm not going to lie to you when I say I don't necessarily want to get any closer.
and you
No, that's
also
fair.
you speak the language that the blacksmith and I do not.
Which might be beneficial to have me
True.
with.
True. So what if we do this then? We'll have the blacksmith, Guardian, and myself stay out here, and then we'll send you three in. If things go absolutely tits up, you dimension door your way back to us, and then we'll figure out plan 7.
I find this
You're
agreeable.
all you're all
Foolproof.
so lack of weapons won't entirely disable you all. I can hang on to them for you, and then once you get back, we'll rearm and figure out a plan from there.
Fair enough.
Leave us more martial folks out here, and let you magic people do inside.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Librarians, that work for you?
Of course.
Worst case, you don't get a choice in the matter.
Excuse me.
Being that we're not aware of the actual timeliness of this appointment, it might be of use to also determine a place we could stay the night if need be.
That's fair. I'd say let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
Just a suggestion for those who are waiting.
Right.
Keep in mind,
Suggest
the whole hours that you've been here, the light hasn't changed. It hasn't grown any brighter. It hasn't grown any darker. You get the sense that day and night are interesting ideas.
but
Do we get an idea of how much time has passed?
Are we?
Fantasy clock.
It's been 4 or 5 hours since you landed in the Feywild.
Mm.
So
Oh, did I mute?
walk the streets. If this
Okay,
resides
I'm not.
more than 8 hours here, let me suggest, and I'll suggest one of the inns that we passed. That was a bigger inn. That we reconvene there. If things go poorly, I believe Cleric has a way of communicating that with us, and we can
We'll head there.
make plans as necessary. But that is our meeting point in 8 hours, or if you do not come out sooner,
Right.
we will accommodate that.
I will then grab the his crossbow.
Well, before we do that, let's go walk to the guards and make sure that this is an acceptable arrangement for them.
You present the situation, and they do agree. If you will disarm yourselves in their sight and give your weapons to your companions to remain out here, they will permit you entrance.
So I will grab Casator's his crossbow, his dagger, his rapier.
All the weapons.
You just grab all of his weapons. The wordsmith passes them over to you
Lauren,
with only mild huffing.
from my
Jordan would do more than mine.
experience here, would there be a problem with her being a tiefling other than maybe an oddity?
Not really, no.
Okay. So, in view of the gods, I'm like, oh, I always forget that I have this on. I do apologize. And I'll take the charm off.
I'll take
Okay.
And then I'm going to, before y'all go in, I'm going to look at Rye and I'm going to say, it seems your words were not quite as impactful as they've been in the past. Perhaps this will help. And I will cast Enhance Ability on her
Sweet.
for Eagle Splendor. So you get advantage on charisma checks for an hour.
Cool.
Nice.
Baller.
This will last for an hour. And maybe it'll make you a little more persuasive.
Eagle Splendor.
Thank you, darling.
Just sounds rad.
I'll grab you.
Yeah, I give you all my weapons, all 2 of them.
What?
I'm like, yeah, I've got. Oh, crap.
What?
Nope, I have another one. Take off the necklace.
Which one?
The necklace of Fireball.
I'll take that.
I forgot about that. That was about to be bad.
I mean, it's not much more different than you.
It's a dangerous object.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take that chance.
Yeah,
High wisdom boy, maybe not quite as high wisdom as he used to be, but high wisdom boy.
I'm gonna summon the trunk to put my charm in the trunk, send it away, and then I will take my tail ring off and give it specifically to Doran.
Okay.
I don't know what this ring is, but I will pocket it and take care of it as best I can.
you don't have any weapons, right?
You can attune to it.
Right. You don't keep weapons on you. We haven't seen any weapons.
No,
Okay.
she'd have to take her tongue out. That would be
She's a wizard. She probably doesn't have anything.
I mean, technically, I have like a crossbow and a short sword, but I haven't used them, so I'm assuming they're in the trunk at this point.
Very likely.
I just want to make sure that I inventory everything that I grab appropriately. I've been grabbing weapons, so.
Should I write this ring down somewhere?
No, I will remember it.
I'm sure you will. Yeah.
All right, we're good. The
I
time
put
is
it
ticking on the hour.
All right, so we make our way in.
Okay. So y'all head in, and as you enter into the palace gates, it's a short series of steps up to a front entryway. You enter into a foyer, and as soon as you enter in, it was very hard to hear outside, but as soon as you enter in, you are hit with a wave of music, with the smells of rich foods and meats that have been cooking, with the sound of people talking and dancing. You're led to your right and up a set of stairs. And the stairs lead into a small entryway and another set of double doors. And entering through these large wooden double doors,
Oh, okay.
you enter into the gala of the Eventide Empress.
Oh, God.
As you walk in, you see elves and fae of all kinds, dressed in bright colors of silk and velvet. They're standing and moving throughout the room, speaking to each other. There's a large area that has been set aside for dancing, and it seems like there is some ballroom dance reminiscent of a waltz that is being played and danced through currently. Musicians are in a balcony above, the strains of their music echoing through the massive room. You can see there are various entertainments in little alcoves scattered throughout the hall. You see a juggler, a mime, a satyr with what looks like a troop of trained cats. They're performing in these little areas surrounded by people. You see a group of people who are laughing and clapping, applauding as it looks like an elven figure is mocking those who are gathered around. There are a couple of figures in particular that catch your eye as they are in the dancing, and these brightly garbed couples whirling in this frenzy of energy. And the first is clothed in gloriously golden garb, literally woven of golden thread. It catches the light, and you can see the light from the sunset overhead shining through this crystal ceiling, this glass ceiling above. The floor, or the ceiling, is entirely transparent. So the colors of the sunset are just echoed in the colors of the white stone of the palace here, picking up especially the gold of this fey woman. As she moves, you can see she is haughty, the wickedly curved grin painted across delicate, beautiful features. Long amber hair is pulled back in an elaborate series of braids cascading down her back. The other figure that you see that really catches your eye is Hari Reslin, the Arcanist you've been looking for. He is exhausted, moving, just stumbling through the dance, but unable to stop. You see his partner is a tall, stately Fey woman in a dress that contains all of the colors of the sunset. All hues of pink and purple and orange glowing as vibrantly as the sky overhead. She wears a delicately woven circlet of red gold upon her brow. And as she twirls Reslin through the steps of the dance, her long, bright gold hair streams like gentle waves down her back. There are other figures that you can see, a few elderly Fey humanoids with almost green or grayish skin who are dressed in much more muted colors than most of those that you see. They are wizened and shrunken almost as they walk through the room. It catches your eye in particular, Val, because you see 3 of them.
Curly and Mo.
There is a tall woman, looks human from what you can see, with long red curls hanging down her back to her waist. She's in a scarlet dress, lips painted a bright red, long nails filed into claw-like shape, painted a matching red. This crimson color all through her mien. You see a number of guards who match the heraldry of those outside and stationed on the walls, who are dressed in golden armor with this same half-sun symbol emblazoned on the chests, and these guards are armed. As y'all enter into this, you see banquet tables that are set out with a rich feast upon them. You see a number of elves and fae who are partaking. There are serving staff who are walking around presenting various little drinks and little bite-sized hors d'oeuvres, sort of. Little bits of roasted meat or fresh fruit, some varieties, and as they're making their way through. As the scene opens before you, what are y'all doing?
Keeping an eye out for somebody who looks like they might be the steward. The 3 that caught my eye, why did they catch my eye?
Apart from being the only 3 of their kind that you can see, they're not nearly as brightly clothed as the others, and they are all older and wizened and shrunken. Make a history check. Or Arcana.
Oh, that's much better. Oh, that's much better. That would be a 25.
You surmise that this is a coven of hags who has gained entrance into this gala.
Oh, snap.
I'm having whiplash.
I know, right?
Lauren, why are you trying to give me a stroke?
Right?
For those of you at home,
Kazator just starts shaking.
Kazator, who's got Kazator stats? Roll a perception check.
I'm very glad I didn't go in there.
Oh,
Because
Lauren.
Somewhere Jordan feels a disturbance in the force.
Lauren, if you did.
Natural 1?
Yep, which is nothing.
Nope.
He's
He doesn't
scared.
recognize anything.
He's scared.
It's probably good I'm not there.
K-Store's a little scared right now. I believe it is.
Point of clarification, Lauren.
Yes.
What does a cycle mean in our time?
Okay, so time in the Feywild is measured by candle marks, essentially. A candle mark is approximately equal to an hour. There are 24 candle marks in a cycle, so a cycle is roughly equivalent to a day. It is slightly longer, but it's close enough to
By like
carry over.
4
So
minutes.
based on what we were told, Hari's,
Basically got
I
like
guess,
3 more
discipline
days.
is for 3 more days.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's gonna kill this man.
Yeah, that's why Val wasn't like freaking out.
That's gonna kill him.
No.
I mean, if they're leading us to someone who is the steward, I'm obviously making observations, but I'm not trying to make anything
Yeah,
big
do we
deal
see
out of it.
somebody who's like very obviously the steward, or
Not in particular. Not
Is
at this
there-
point.
anybody walking around that's like serving drinks or whatever?
Yes, there are several of those.
Are they not leading us to him?
No, you were guided, sort of gestured up the stairs, and the doors were opened for you, but you were not led into this to the steward.
Gotcha.
So I'll when one of the servers comes by, I'll grab a drink or a snack, whatever they're holding, and ask what kind. First of all, race of person I'm talking to.
Elf.
Elf. Okay, then in Elvish, I'll ask. Excuse me, would you be able to point me to the steward?
I'm very sorry, sir. The steward is currently indisposed. There was an issue that must be taken care of. He should return in a short period of time. In the meantime, please do continue to enjoy the gala.
Oh, we will.
Can I offer you some of Her Ladyship's hospitality?
We'd be delighted.
And he holds the plate forward for you.
What's on it?
Little bits of, like squares of meat, roasted, very aromatic.
Yeah,
Only costs you half.
I'll take one. I'll just take one.
Okay.
Give it a little,
Okay.
and give her a bow and walk away.
So we might identify him when he returns. When we do seek out the steward, what would we be looking for?
I believe he's currently dressed in the crimson vestments of his station. The gold chain of office should demarcate him from other lords and ladies present.
I'll bow and let her go.
Red clothes, gold chain.
So much if it wasn't code.
Blue flower, red thorns. Blue flower, red thorns.
So what are y'all doing?
At the current moment, scouting out, just kind of looking like we're meandering, observing the sights, but really kind of trying to subtly keep an eye on, one, on our target, and two, noting the locations of guards and other dangerous beings such as the hags.
Val, with your passive insight, you get the idea that while the hags may be alarming, there's probably not a single individual at this gala who is not dangerous in some form or fashion.
Okay, that's fair.
Is the room specifically just a place for dancing and partying, or are there any sort of pedestals or things on display in there?
There are some artwork pieces on display, some sculptures, some statues. They seem designed for the entertainment of the guests.
Is there any magic going on right now, like overt magic? People casting illusions, anything like that going on?
It does seem like one of the entertainers is an illusionist who's using essentially like prestidigitation or thaumaturgy level sparks of light, twirling and playing in various constellations and shapes. And then you see one, it looks like one of those elementally influenced figures as an entertainer, dressed all in dark maroons and reds and oranges, who currently has a little column of flame that he is almost sculpting like clay in midair and turning it into the figure of a rose. You can see as it's spinning and twirling around in his hands, he's got this beautiful lifelike flower entirely made of flame. So those two are probably the most overt magical that you see.
The one that's using like the sparks and whatnot, does there seem to be a large crowd around him, smaller crowd?
A smaller crowd, probably half a dozen individuals.
I'm gonna start making my way towards blending into the crowd, and make my way towards the one doing the sparklers.
Okay. While you're doing that, Rye, you are approached by a lovely fey young woman in dark blue and silver-lined gown, and she curtsies at you. It's like, it would be my pleasure if you would accompany me for a dance.
I will curtsy back. If it would not be of any sort of offense, I would be very pleased to join you. I admit I came here to speak with the steward and was not given a proper invitation. So if it would be no offense, I would be pleased to do so.
There's no offense. Your vestments are lovely.
Oh, much appreciated.
And she leads you to the dance floor. What do we want to say Kazator is doing right now? How is our wordsmith?
He's doing the work. He's breakdancing like crazy.
Okay. Let's say...
So Jordan, when you watch this back, I expected someone to pipe up, but Lauren's running with it, so that's her
He's
decision.
probably tracking the different musicians and performers. And
yeah, that's a more legit thing he can do.
Maybe looking at some of the paintings.
He's probably trying to get a read of the room, figure out
what
would you
shenanigans
break out in song? How would that go? And then,
Sometimes when I crack a joke, it's just meant to be a dumb joke.
he's doing all of this while
Promise.
No, but I love that mental image. I love the idea of...
breakdancing. He's paying attention.
Please remember, Lauren is an archfey. What we say will be used against us.
Only the best possible ways.
You are full of it.
So you're benevolent to us? Yay.
While Kazator is doing that, and Rye is dancing the night away, Val's going to use Minor Illusion to join in with Sparkler Dude and use making sure that I'm good here. So going back in Val's memories, the ones he still has, basically creating an image of because it's a 5-foot cube of a kind of a galaxy pattern of sparkly lights, colored similarly to Northern Lights looking deal.
Okay.
And that the guy's sparkles actually look like dancing stars inside of.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
And I'll flip from I'll cast that, and I don't think that's a concentration. No, it's not. And use thaumaturgy to make it sound like almost like when you a crystal chandelier moves, that sound, that little clinking sound, to match his sparkles.
I was so hoping you were going to make a rave, though.
Almost. As you use your
rave.
Minor Illusion, because this is the first time you've used that particular one, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the feeling of a cold chill emanating from between your shoulder blades. It echoes into the as you channel your magic, it echoes into the part of your mind where this cold presence now dwells. You feel a reverberation and almost a strengthening.
Oh, all right then.
Is that an unpleasant cold or like a?
Yeah, I was actually kind of wondering that myself. Is it like an unpleasant feeling, or just like when you have a cold shiver run down your back? It's like, oh, hi there.
More like a cold shiver. It's not. It's not painfully cold, but it's odd for sure. It is unlike anything you have felt before, and the closest it's come is when you probe that sort of mental space where Sayanine's touch has frozen your connection to Tana.
Fair enough. So basically I'll keep this up as I can, because I'm sticking with the cantrips here. And basically trying to garner interest and attention without being overtly like trying to steal the show.
Mm-hmm. Make a performance check.
Oh, crap.
Basically, you're a magical hype man.
So this performance is charisma based. I'm not entirely using charisma as much as magical skill.
I'll reflect that in the DC.
Okay. Because this is the one thing like I have a negative modifier on. This charisma crap. Alright, here we go. Natural 18, so 17.
Okay. Yeah, no, and the crowd around you does grow. It seems like the elven man you are working with, partnering with for this magical entertainment, is grateful to you. He nods at you and continues his performance, also collaborating with you, continuing to draw a little bit more of a crowd. By this point, you've got 12 or 15 people who are around just watching you now.
How far away are we from where Harry's dancing?
50, 60 feet.
All right, as we go, I'll kind of, as we're going, I'll kind of gesture with my head towards him and actually start moving the cantrip, because each one lasts for a minute. So it'll move it, and then I'll move it further down the way, to where we're basically moving the light show closer and closer to where they're dancing, and see if he'll follow me.
Okay. Make a persuasion check.
Son of a bitch! Why is it all these things?
You're trying to convince other people to do something you want them to do. That's definitely persuasion.
Fair, and this is, if ever I was going to get this is when I needed it. I got a natural 20 for a 19.
So, 19, very nice. So it takes a little bit. There's definitely a couple minutes of a lag and almost a reticence for this other elven performer to leave the alcove where he has been set up. But the crowd grows. By this time, there's 15 or 18 people, and as you start to shift ever so slowly, they do start to follow you.
So I'll start moving it. Oh gosh, why do I feel like Quesator right now? I'll start moving it to where people are dancing. Is where Rye's dancing, is it between us and Harry?
Yeah, for now. The dancers are moving and sort of circling throughout the room. They're not staying in one spot. Like, it is an ever-moving, ever-shifting group of people.
So as they're doing, we'll move the cantrips around the dancers. We won't pick out anyone in particular for the moment, but just kind of make it to where, because I've got a 30-foot range on this, and I'm assuming he's close enough to where he can move, whatever. And we'll kind of like highlight dancers as they are dancing around for a second, and then move it over to the next dancer to where the lights actually play off their clothes. And then as we move through the crowd, if we can get to where we're within 30 feet of where Harry's dancing, highlight them too.
Okay. As you're in the process of doing this, we're going to go ahead and pause. Rye, this lovely Fey lady who's dancing with you, a few steps into the dance, she says, "You may call me Anna. Might I have the pleasure of the means of address?"
The librarian, please.
As you will, librarian. You seem new to this location. I have not seen you here before.
Yes, I've traveled to different places around the Feywild, and have heard tale of the Eventide Empress, but have not had the pleasure of enjoying the sights in this area. So it was quite nice to find that my tasks had brought me here, so I can engage in more of the Feywild.
Her ladyship's hospitality is most generous.
Yes, I have heard many good things about her ladyship's hospitality, and it's actually for unfortunate reasons that I'm even needing to inquire with the steward, for we came on business that regarded the Arcanist and some things going on in the material plane, and heard of the offense that he had against her ladyship, and it is quite unfortunate to find out that he has compromised such hospitality.
Oh, such a dreadful event. It would be awful.
Little of it. What happened?
Oh, he spoke against her ladyship's ruling. She had commissioned a gown, not the one she is wearing tonight, of course. And unfortunately, the maker was unable to provide it, even after accepting the commission and agreement to do so. He reneged on his debt, and her ladyship was well within her rights to come collecting. The Arcanist was unfortunately displeased with her ladyship's methods, and spoke so publicly, shaming our ladyship. It was awful, simply horrid.
My. He spoke so publicly in their city, or was he actually... I've heard tell that he's come through the area quite frequently. Was this to her ladyship herself?
Oh, yes, here in this very room. Not but 4 cycles ago. He's still under her discipline, as you can see. And
Yes.
she sort of nods towards where Reslin is dancing.
Yes. We heard that he came here to do research on the city and was learning more about it.
Oh, yes, our ways are fascinating to him, apparently.
Your ways are different from the ones we're used to on the material plane. So it's for someone such as he, who is a researcher of sorts, and their minds, they like to learn and discover and understand things. So yes, I can see how he would be fascinated by the Feywild and by the city itself. We've heard tale that it's fairly new to the area.
Oh, fairly, yes. Only within the last, certainly not 2 centuries ago. 150 centuries, or 150 years as mortals measure time.
Yeah, well, as mortals measure time, that is quite a distance, but as I understand with the Feywild, it is quite short for you. It is very fascinating to see that difference. We've heard very little about how the city got brought here, but as I stated, we were aware that the Arcanist was doing a bit of research in regards to it. Is that something, it just appeared one day, or was it brought here?
Oh no, her ladyship brought it by her grace.
Oh. Would I know who she's is she referencing the
Eventide Empress? Yeah.
Okay. For both the ladyship and the grace?
Yeah, the
Okay.
grace is sort of a means of describing her power.
Okay. Ah! Wow, it is a beautiful city. I can see why one would want to bring it here for a place of honor for her ladyship.
Indeed. And the Arcanist is not the only one to research it. We've had several visitors. Yon Scarlet Lady is here on the same business, as I understand it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How fascinating.
I know who that is.
Oh shoot.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I mean, red claws, yo. Well
Yeah.
then,
Out here.
it's popping off.
Playing.
Ooh, that could be bad.
So bad it's out here.
That could be really bad.
I picked that up the first time.
Well, this is
Does the
greatly
hag screw us
appreciated.
all up?
This is greatly appreciated, and the opportunity to dance. I am glad to have been able to learn to dance in the Feywild. It's gorgeous and beautiful here, much to be desired.
You're quite a pleasant dance partner, if I do say so myself.
You are generous.
Yes, but I'm enjoying your company.
I'm just gonna bow.
Everyone gets a relationship.
I'm just gonna bow and
Be in
turn to
trouble.
whatever conversation she wants to lead to next after that.
So as all of this is happening inside, y'all outside, what are you doing?
Oh, good lord. That's what I get for being a troublemaker.
I mean, we're just gonna sort of
We're gonna head
find
to
a
that.
place to chill
Yeah.
out the way and wait until something goes terribly, terribly, terribly wrong.
Okay.
I kind of feel like that's inevitable at this point.
Lord,
Yes.
I do want to look over that ring that she gave me.
How far
Okay.
from like the gate, the wall is this place that everyone is in?
You're asking me for distances. Probably from the wall of the palace district to the palace itself, traveling by the road is probably going to be about a quarter mile. And then from the gate entryway of the palace, you've got probably 80 to 100 feet of courtyard, and then up the flight of stairs through the foyer and the little entry area into the ballroom.
Okay, within a mile. Cool. Well, we're going to go sit relatively close. If there's like a pub or something like that, right by the wall that we can sit, and I would like to sit down because my last recollection of my city is dragonfire and smoke, and I would like to use my primeval awareness and find out what creatures are present and if dragons be near.
Certainly. There's a list
Lots
of
of
creatures.
I understand that. I'm not worried about that.
You get lots of fame.
It's the dragons that concern me.
I mean, you can kind of keep track of Rye because there's going to be one fiend out there somewhere.
That's fair.
Yeah. Within
Okay.
1 mile.
Raz got her tracking anklet on.
Okay, so expend 1 ranger spell slot to focus your awareness for 1 minute per level of the spell slot you expend. So what level are you doing?
First level.
Okay, so for the next minute, you can sense whether the following types of creatures are present within a mile of you. You sense dragons, elementals, fae, and fiend.
I'm believing I will catch and pick up on several,
This is bad.
probably some elementals.
I'm gonna freaking die.
You get to know how many there are, or
No.
is it just
It
present?
doesn't reveal the location or number.
But I know what it is to have dragonborn presence versus actual dragon.
No, I would just. Jay wanted to know if there's more than one.
Nope, just presence.
Oh, balls. This is bad. This just got 10 kinds of bad.
I mean, seriously, she brought back the hags that I'm gonna go ahead and guess are the ones that we don't like. One of the Durgans is present, and everything wants to probably kill us.
I mean, not yet.
Not yet.
You've done absolutely nothing to deserve killing. I don't know why you're so worried.
I'm outside. We should be fine.
Right?
That's fair, yeah.
Dude, never have I ever been so glad for splitting the party.
Yeah. So while we're outside, I do want to look over that thing that Ryan.
Yeah, like we made the right choices here.
Yeah, so we're just gonna sit chill out at this tavern.
Garrett wants to do a thing.
All right,
Yes.
What is Gary doing?
I'm looking over the ring that she gave me. I just
It's-
want to look at it.
It's a tail ring, but it looks more like a bracelet.
I got, yeah, because I figured it was, because, yeah, you said tail ring, so I was like, it's got to be, anyway, but I'm just looking at it.
Rye, you want to describe it to him?
It doesn't have any sort of wording or anything on it. When you look at it, it's got a stylized version of the latch that you see on the trunk.
Okay. I'm not going to pry more further than that. I was just looking at it, and I figure this is important. I put it away.
Well, she
Cool
entrusted it to you for safekeeping, so
Yes, it is
take from that what
important.
you will.
It is important. Keep safe. Treasure important. Good stuff.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm still talking.
A short time later, Kazator is notified by the same servant y'all had been speaking to earlier, and he gestures to where the steward has just re-entered the room, having like wiping his hands off and walking briskly as his gaze sort of roams the room, catching the eyes of the serving staff and making sure everything is functioning as needed.
If I see him coming out, I'm going to give my apologies and say, it appears that the steward is here. I would not want to miss him in this discussion.
Oh, were you wanting an introduction?
If you would be willing to give one, I would appreciate that.
I'm sure we can come to an arrangement.
Oh?
Rye's going on a date.
I'm willing to introduce you to her ladyship. I have found myself in her favor in recent years. And what is it worth to you?
Oh.
I would be concerned if I am not back, but perhaps after I notify them of this, I could spend the rest of the evening dancing with you.
The rest of the evening?
The next couple of candle months, I'm afraid I have business elsewhere.
I don't like the Feywilds, man.
That was close.
How do you find this to be a satisfactory deal? Speak with your companions. I shall await your presence there. And she gestures to where the troop of trained cats is performing.
Very well. I shall attempt to be back by the next candle mark, but please, it may be 2, depending on their discussion. So, in the next 2 candle marks, I shall return.
I shall see you then. And
Hey, girl.
Seriously, like, having conversations in the Feywild is like passing a glass kidney stone. My God. I'm not even there, and I'm cringing.
Brenda just went.
Oh, wow, that was close. Oh,
Oh, my heart can't. We need out of here.
By the end of this session, I want to be back home. My God.
Right.
By which I mean prime material plane.
Just
librarian. Yes.
out of curiosity, how close is the Empress to Hare Krishna and his dancing partner?
Breslin, let's not insult
By the way,
people.
broken glass.
From what you can tell, and my apologies, I didn't mention this earlier, the throne in this room that's set sort of on a dais farther back is empty. Like, the Empress is not on her throne. From what you gather, and with your passive perception, you would see, while there are a number of beautiful pieces of jewelry, there is only one individual who is wearing any sort of circlet or head ornamentation in their hair, and that is the individual who is dancing with Hari.
Okay.
I'm glad I'm
Perfect.
at the room.
Because that is basically Val's target at this point of where he's taking the magic.
Okay.
So
You're probably 30 feet or so away from from the edge of the dancing.
perfect.
Where every couple of minutes, Hari and the Empress are making their loop around.
Excellent.
Oh my god,
When I get within 30 feet, I want to make this like very beautiful complementary color to the twilight. So changing the color from like the Northern Lights type deal to the complementaries of the light filling in from the crystal ceiling, and basically make her go from looking like an archfey empress to a goddess.
Okay.
And if
Pretty
I
bad.
can, if I can I use thaumaturgy to change the sound from the crystal like twinkle to like this almost melodious wind chime type sound.
Okay. That is definitely something that you can do. I will say, especially as you enter this sort of 30-foot range, and especially as the Empress is becoming the object, like the target of your magics, you do notice that the guards are a little closer than they were, and a little more alert than they were. They're keeping a very close eye on the situation.
Fair enough.
So yes, and there is a brief sort of audible gasp as the magic and the sound illuminate the Empress's form. There is applause after this brief, like, so lovely sort of moment, especially from the 20-25 party goers who are now surrounding you with this crowd. The elven man, you see, has stopped firmly out of range of the Empress. He's 5 or 10 feet back from where you're at right now.
Cool beans.
Um,
Coward. Val didn't say that, Jay did. But Val thought it.
mhm. Kazator and Rai have both seen the steward at this point and are moving in Val's direction. Is that right?
Yeah.
Gonna say to the lady, the one who I was dancing with,
Right.
I have a companion who he's overwhelmed with precision, and so unfortunately I do think whenever I do tell him of this, he's going to want to know quite firmly what exactly my plans are. I'm sure you're familiar with the type. So
Exceptionally.
to confirm, upon my return in 2 candle marks, we shall dance for another 4 candle marks.
That is satisfactory. And do you wish your introduction prior to that or after?
Prior.
It would be my pleasure.
I'm gonna wave Val over. One of those like.
And Val, you are, your passive perception is such that that is something you definitely see. What do you do?
And definitely ignore.
Okay.
It's
So
a good thing we split the party and let them go in.
Kazator has been making his way around the room to y'all. Rai has signaled Val, and Val is obviously ignoring it. And Rai, you see him see it and ignore it. What are y'all doing? Kazator is making his way through the crowd towards Val.
I have a grandma look on my face, and I'm just gonna walk towards the steward.
Oh. Inside jokes. Inside jokes.
Alright, very quickly, y'all reunite at Val's location, 30 or so feet from the edge of the dancing.
Well, I was heading towards the steward.
Oh, towards the steward. Okay, my apologies. Kazator arrives over at Val's location. He's like, the student has arrived. What are you doing?
At the current moment, I am ingratiating myself to our gracious hostess, and to show deferential treatment to leave her to show deferential treatment to another would probably not go over well. So you two go deal with the steward. I will continue to play nice.
Further split the party.
100%.
Be right back.
Looking up to the most ingratiating himself with the most powerful female presence in the room. That sounds like something Val might do.
I don't know if she's the one.
More ingratiating.
She doesn't seem to mind.
He has not acknowledged you at all.
No, she hasn't told me to stop either, so.
Wow.
So, Ryan Casator. Rye gets to the steward about a minute or two before Casador does, but you can see Casator heading your way. You head towards there. What do you do?
I will let the woman I was dancing with take the lead on the introduction. I will not interrupt that.
Okay, she was offering to introduce you to the Empress herself. Is that something that you're...
Oh. I misunderstood that.
Do it.
I was busy simping anyway, so.
So does that change what you're doing?
Yes, because it gives Rye a moment to show up Val.
Yes!
Okay,
Oh,
so rewinding this a little bit. Casator has gotten sort of the brush off from Val. He's heading over towards the steward. Val's doing the magically shiny lights for the Empress. Rye, you have this companion who introduced herself as Anna and is offering to introduce you to the Empress. Are you sure you need those 2 candle marks? I could introduce you now.
I think due to the situation that we find ourselves in, since we don't want to interfere with her ladyship and her ruling, having a moment to speak with her, and then discuss with my companions what they would like to do next. That way I don't need to interrupt and I can be completely focused on the time that I will be dancing with you.
Wonderful. Right this way then, shall we? And she leads you through the dance floor, cutting a swath through the other dancers, who part like the Red Sea around this young Fey woman. She starts dancing in this complementary pattern with her ladyship, as Reslin continues to stumble through, just exhausted. Rye, you can see at this point there are small spots of blood that are leaking out of his boots with every step that he takes. Not large, not gushing, just sort of seeping.
Are there other fluids seeping? Because he's probably been dancing for days. That's gross.
Not that you can currently tell. The blood is the most...
I mean, I'm not there, so it doesn't really matter.
Immediate. His clothing is obviously like worn and sweat through. Like he is badly exhausted. Her ladyship gestures towards the other golden garbed figure that had caught your attention, and she spins Reslin to this figure who her partner finds a way out off of the dance floor, and so this golden garbed figure is continuing to dance in this circle around the 3 of y'all. The Empress is facing you and Anna, as she had introduced herself. She curtsies, your ladyship.
I'll curtsy even deeper.
I have the honor of presenting the librarian, a new arrival to your court. And please.
When she stops dancing, Val's going to let the lights fade.
Okay.
He's done simping.
For now.
Yeah, no, Rye just made contact. Val's like, the hell?
He's actually charming right now because of me.
I am pleased to make her known to you. And the Empress nods and gives a graceful nod of the head. Librarian, be welcome in my court.
Your ladyship, I am enamored by what I see here. It is quite beautiful and gorgeous, and I was brought here on different business to take care of a subject matter, actually, an all motion to do with the Arcanist, but I am pleased by the fact that it has given me the opportunity to witness the beauty of your court.
You speak not but truth. You had business, you say? I find myself mildly wearied. Shall we speak of it now?
If you have a moment, I would say I have several companions who were brought in to discuss this as well, and we had thought we would not get an opportunity to speak with you, so they were unable to join us. So, not to interrupt, even though it appears unfortunately I have already, not to interrupt your evening, perhaps if there's a time convenient where I could bring them as well, so that they could be witness to your magnanimity and the discussion as well.
You find favor with my daughter. I am pleased to take a moment of time.
Lauren, you're so wicked.
Gather your companions. Shall we speak?
It will take me a moment to gather them, for some of them are outside the castle at the moment, but I am to return in 2 candle marks to dance with your beautiful daughter, so perhaps I can discuss with them and then bring them back to have the discussion and then return to the glory of the evening.
I find this pleases me. Go and return in 2 candle marks.
Okay, I'm gonna bow low, and then I'm gonna bow very low to the daughter as well, and
How sweaty are you?
Not at all. Rye does not sweat. She glows.
I approve.
And I say I look forward to returning to our dance. And we'll head out, grab Kate's torque to Val again.
Val is on your heels.
That'll make it hard to walk.
All right, so y'all are heading back to the rest of the group?
Yeah, to meet up with them real quick.
Okay. On your way out, you are significantly more watched than you were on your way in. You have caught some attention.
Great.
Including of the hags.
Even better.
And including of that Scarlet Lady.
Oh, fudge! What is that good?
We're all gonna die.
You
We're
are
all gonna die.
You are permitted to leave the room without contest.
Why did the heat kick on? Oh, right, because the fires of hell are coming.
You head back down the stairs and out of the castle to reunite with your group. What are y'all doing?
Oh my
I'm
god.
wanting to know if I caught any pings.
Say what?
I'm wanting to know with my primeval awareness what I picked up on. 'Cause I might have missed
Did I not mention to you already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did not catch it then. That's my bad. I'm sorry. But
Sorry. Dragons, elementals, fae, and fiends.
Dragons?
You don't know number or location. You get draconic presence.
Different.
All the things are here, dog.
Accustomed to.
You get the sense it's true dragon, not just dragonborn. Dragonborn are humanoid type for the purposes of your primeval awareness. You are sensing dragon.
Fantastic.
Balls! All right. Yeah, I guess we go and fill in the family.
Yeah, I will tell everyone what it is, and I'm going to say we need to talk quickly because I have to get back.
Why did you not? Okay, here's a question. Question A. Why did you bother coming back? Why not just deal with business there and then come back to we?
Because I have no idea what we're walking into. So while, yes, I am able to talk myself through a lot of things, ultimately, this is not a situation where I can make final say on everything, darling.
All right, fair enough. What in the world are we meant to do with all of our weapons? They're not going to let us keep them.
Right.
Do we give them to the guards?
We can attempt to put them in my trunk, and we can be quite plain with them about where they lie and notify them that we do not have a place to store them and see if they will allow us to at least have them, even if it is not on our person.
Would it be possible for us to have had this discussion and then send you three back in to finalize it so we don't have to go in at all?
That might be... Lauren, just out of curiosity, because I know the players are all freaking out, do the characters make the connection?
That's entirely up to y'all.
Oh, no, I don't
I'm gonna leave that up to your rule.
No, 100%. But for the purpose of Val being transparent with his team, I'm trying to figure out if Val would have made the correct connection with the Scarlet Lady person.
So,
who's probably the Carmine clan.
That's exactly, yeah.
No,
I'm stuck on the hags, though.
Lauren, how far away are we from the room?
We're like outside the castle, right?
Yeah, you went outside the castle.
Wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are less than half a mile.
Okay. Okay. No. I'm good. When we get back, I was gonna do something retroactively, but I'll do it when we get back. That being said, there are a lot of beings in there that may take issue with the presence of the armed or the more militaristic of our group. Raya seems to have, or the librarian seems to have made inroads. I see no reason not to let her continue those inroads.
Albert, you were going to say something?
So my character, like, very much more militaristic, and for y'all who know me, like, there is a definite, like, hardening.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be parted from my weapons in this city.
Yep.
There are dragons present, and the last time I was here, there were dragons present, and nothing good came of it.
Yeah, we might have...
If you describe her, I am connecting dots.
Yeah.
Perhaps I can introduce you as my guard and explain to them the fact that you do need your weapons, and perhaps the guard would be willing to walk with us.
I don't know that is a situation we even want to put ourselves in at this point.
If he will not be parted from his weapons, and we want to bring him in, or if you would like to join us in there, it is a question worth asking.
Maybe we'll to this idea if this is
perhaps
go.
No, I have the same standpoint as him, though. I
almost feel like that would be more inflammatory than...
I'm not sure, based on my interactions, and I'm only pulling from my dark history and memories I do not want to go back through. The Arbiter of Bahamut would not, and that's under my, like, that is very silent. That's not just yell.
Right.
That's for microphone purposes.
Well, my name here is Arbiter. So
yes, but I specifically named
yeah.
the Arbiter and his deity would not be welcome if any type of connection remains with skeletons of another world.
And if we've already made ourselves at odds with this particular family of chromatics, then the most powerful of which...
I would remind you that she's held to the hospitality of this place as much as we are.
Yes, but I would not want to cause there to be an issue. We don't know how ingratiated she may already be.
But if she compromises that hospitality, she is the one who is forfeit.
We also don't know the information she knows. And so she may not know that you or the other two companions who were in there are aligned to me. So I would hate, especially for you, you have not been present in our previous encounters with them. I would hate for you to be seen with me and now her and her kin are aware of your affiliation. I would hate for that hand to be shown prematurely. Therefore, I do think we're better off sending in the 3 who can then rapidly teleport out if things go absolutely...
I may have an idea on that. Librarian can teleport with one other, correct? That's how Dimension Door works.
Yes.
Keeping our wordsmith out to teleport one of you in should we need the help.
The reason I would, and he can back me up on this, he is the connection to our quarry.
Mm-hmm.
He's the reason we're
That's true. Good point.
He's the connection to the quarry.
No, good point.
If we take another one in, it would be me as the librarian's guard.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that would be the most amiable situation, being of elvish descent.
But having you out here, being able to... The Blacksmith and myself don't speak any of the language that's going on here.
That's
I
true.
got some funny looks coming in before, so I don't know that they like me.
Librarian to continue speaking on our behalf.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
I do too. I think she's done well so far. Let's not
Y'all are there
mess with the good thing.
to have her back, and we're out here to have your back. I understand that, but be on guard because things are not right and nothing is as it should be in this moment.
Nothing is as it seems.
No, never is it?
So, Librarian, if you would go back in and inform your newfound friends that you have discussed, and this is the agreed upon terms, whatever they are. Honestly, the goal is to get him, leave, so all of us can leave.
We'll be here
Because also by
until you come out.
leaving the extra teleporting ability, that is a grab and pull if it is allowed.
Do we still not want to see if the guards will let us throw the weapons into the trunk or no?
I feel like that's just inviting trouble. We're already on good terms. Let's leave it there.
If I'm walking in, my friend, I'm walking in with weapons in hand, not in a case that I have to try to get to in case of an emergency.
I'm not trying to debate the point. I'm just asking if we're avoiding that road or if we're going to take it. Explore it, rather.
All right. So shall we head back?
The off-ramp.
We'll follow your lead on this.
Here's the timeline. I have a dance for Candlemarks upon my time in there, so we are looking at anywhere between 6 and 8 hours before our return. I'm going to take my monocle out, and I will hand it to Halberd. There's one charge that remains on here. You can use it to locate my pendant if you need it for any reason. I do expect this back. It was my mother's.
Do I know anything about your pendant that you're talking about?
It's a monocle.
Well, I know you said it's a
I don't know what you would have noticed, but I mean, she had it on whenever she was looking for you initially because she used locate creature previously.
I thought you said it has one.
Yeah, what's the pendant you're referring to?
Yeah.
No, it's not a pendant.
No,
it's
they're
a
talking
monocle.
about the pendant you said that
this one.
find.
This one. Her.
Pendant?
Oh, so this is,
Yeah.
if you will, almost being able to locate you.
Yeah, you locate
Yes.
pendant, you locate Ryan. Okay.
Are you wanting this back?
At the moment, I don't think it will be of any use, so please hold on to it.
I'm going to take it and wrap it very cautiously in a fine cloth and stick it in my pocket and look at you, and you be careful in there. I don't really care to have you walk away a second time.
Believe me, it is not the intent. And I'll head back.
Link out quickly. Lauren, what's the time limit? Like, how long has it been since I first cast the spell? That enhance ability spell?
Half hour 40 minutes.
Okay. Now they're gonna be going in again. I will do it. I'll cast it again.
Okay.
So I'll give her that. Give you another hour. You'll be in there longer than that with your dance, but maybe you can deal with the negotiating within that hour time.
I have that as well, so.
It is the first thing I'm supposed to do whenever I arrive, so.
I'm just gonna be waiting here until she comes out.
I'm
Okay.
standing with him, but I'm doing this.
Okay. So, Val and Rye and Kazator, the three of y'all are heading back in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You head back in. This time, the guards are significantly more respectful and acknowledging of your presence. A servant meets you at the door, waves you down, Rye, says, "Her ladyship, if you will meet you in a small parlor I am bid to guide you to."
You will follow?
Royal treatment,
So-
alright.
They head back up the stairs to the same landing, and behind a false wall, the servant presses a hidden, sort of disguised button on a piece of what looked like decorative molding on the wall, and a little door pops out, and you are led down a short hallway and into a lavishly furnished sort of small parlor. There is a small table of refreshments and beverages. There are cushions scattered throughout the room, small chairs and lounges. There are two guardsmen, the Empress and Anna.
Dear.
Your ladyship? Your ladyship?
As before, you're welcome to my hospitality. And the Empress gestures to the spread, the refreshments.
Side note, is there any concern about us eating this food?
That's the dog bag.
You have not seen any particular ill effects from those consuming it inside. Make a folklore, I guess, would be history. Make a history check.
Okay, that's okay. 23.
23.
A
Okay.
bit more than okay.
So there
It's okay.
are stories of the Fae, and this is not something you have directly experienced. Not in your journeys of the Feywild, but there are stories of foods that do have various effects. Some are designed to lift the mood. Some are designed to provide a burst of energy or refreshment. Some are designed to, for those inhabitants that sleep, to guide them into a certain dreaming state. Some are designed to provide sleep without dreams. There are a multitude of effects that the Fey food can give by stories. It's up to y'all whether you want to risk whether it's just food or whether there's some effect that it may yet have. You do remember seeing Val eat something earlier, and he hasn't suffered any ill effects from it.
Yeah.
If I see the thing Val ate, I'll pick that up and I'll nibble on that.
There's a small tray of those same sort of cubed meats.
You'll note it's the same three companions, your ladyship. In speaking with the others, they were uncomfortable being parted from their weapons, and so as to not offend, they decided to remain where they were.
Your companions show wisdom.
At times.
My guards are dutiful
Accurate.
in their efforts to perform their duties.
Yes, which for the glory that is in here, it is to be understood. Not to dally with your time, we were sent to the Feywild, and in fact, unknowingly, to this city to search for the Arcanist. His master on the material plane had concerns, for he was expected back about a month ago, our time, and had not returned, and we were unaware of the circumstances regarding this. So we were sent to locate him, and the reference we were made was to a city that we had thought at the time was yet unoccupied, only to find we were quite mistaken. And he had hopes that we could potentially bring back the Arcanist, or in the very least his research. And so upon finding out the situation the Archivist was in and the offense that he had caused, we wanted to speak with you to see what opportunity there is to potentially perhaps renegotiate or appeal his situation, or at the very least take his research back so that his master may be able to remember him with the work he has accomplished.
I'm willing to negotiate his release or his research.
Could we start with the potential for his release, and then if we are unable to find terms that are amenable, move on to his research?
As you will.
We have heard of the situation that he was in and have no interest in having an opinion on. You do what is just in your city. But my thought would be perhaps, I understand he has 3 more cycles here to yet complete his offense, his discipline.
He does.
Would it be possible to give him a small reprieve, perhaps a week on the material plane to return, speak with his master, present his research, and then return here to finish out the offense that he caused?
A counter-argument. You and your allies perform a small task for me, and I shall free him forthwith.
I am interested to learn more of this task. Depending on its matters, would again need to discuss it with my companions who are not present. But I am interested in learning more.
You must understand, my reputation must remain pristine. The issue is that I do have an agent of a rival in my court.
Oh no.
Oh,
Remove
yeah.
this agent, and I shall give you the means to do so that you and your allies may walk away blameless. In fact, another unfriendly to my domain shall take the blame for it. Succeed in this, and I shall free the Arcanist.
Oh, yes.
One thing I know will be
Plots.
matter of concern from my companions who are not here is they are, as stated, uncomfortable to be present in without their weapons. They're quite attached to them. So I know that is a concern of theirs. So for their entry into this space to complete this task, would there be any sort of method for them to have weapons on hand that they might be able to use, preferably their own?
They need not enter my domain to complete this task. You saw the golden bitch who calls herself Glory dancing in my ballroom.
Yes.
Yes, your ladyship.
She is presumptuous, and I tire of her informing her mistress of all that goes on in my domain. She takes a small retinue with her into my woods in the next cycle, a few candle marks hence. Dispose of her and this small retinue during this hunt. That is the task I set for you.
Again, your ladyship, I do not feel like I can commit to this without having discussion with my companions. I don't foresee there being too much of a concern. But if you would allow, and I'll motion to Val and Kaystor, if you would allow them to go out and have this discussion, I would be happy to remain and spend the intervening time either dancing with your beautiful daughter or enjoying just sitting in your presence.
You see the Empress sort of raise an eyebrow at Anna, and there's a brief nod. And the Empress rises from her seat. I find this acceptable. You may entertain my daughter. After your agreed-upon dance, she will return to me with your answer.
Of course, your ladyship.
Then you may go. And she turns, and the two guards sort of flank her as she walks through another well-disguised passageway on the other side of the room, leaving you with Anna and Kazator and Val to head back to the group.
Or if you guys want to, if Val, you want to send ascending.
I was about to ask, would it be permissible for me to use magic to send a message to save us some time, or would you rather us deliver our message in person?
I find nothing prohibitive in magic in my presence. By all means.
Alright, I will cast sending.
Can you get all that in 25 words?
Oh, I have ways.
Short-handed, dude.
Yeah, oh no, yeah, 100%. Yep, okay. I'm gonna cast...
Kill Gold Girl. Yes, no.
What?
Kill Gold Girl. Circle yes or no.
Kill the golden girl. We got it. Wait, hold on.
Hang on. Give me 2 seconds. You can describe whatever you want to describe. Let me just write
One
this down.
Mississippi. 2 Mississippi. You're out of time.
So Anna gestures to the seat next to her, right? Says, shall we sit and talk while we wait for an answer? Or are you keen to start our dance now?
Whether you would like to dance or like to talk, I am amenable to either.
A brief discussion then, while we wait for your companion's answer. And she asks how you like the kingdom so far, and if you have had a chance to visit any of the shops, and ask about your general experience.
It's been quite fascinating walking around here and seeing the place. I'm vaguely familiar with elven cities, and so walking around and getting an idea of the basic structure of it, but then how it has been beautifully built up and maintained and changed has been quite fascinating and very interesting. And we did get to go to the shops. It was actually fun. My companions are not quite as fashionable, and so I had to do a little bit of shopping for them, which, oh my goodness, the shops here, fabulous, absolutely fabulous. So yes, we had a chance to go through because our attire, we were not expecting the situation we were going to find ourselves in, so obviously we had to find appropriate wear.
Oh, obviously, you dressed your companions and chose their garb. Oh, you have exquisite taste.
You're very kind.
All right, Val, how's it coming?
I think I got it. Oh man.
All right, who are you sending to is the first question.
I'm gonna send to Solyex.
The de facto pseudo leader we have. Which is not meant to be an insult, by the way.
It depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Because Rye is the one doing all the talking for us.
And it all started with accepting a dance.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Episode title.
Rye is the face man, not the leader.
Out of curiosity, would she have danced with me either way, or was it because I was a tiefling?
It wasn't necessarily the fact that you were a tiefling. It was the black vestments in the in this particular domain that caught her eye.
Oh no, I actually expect her to ask. To have asked. All right, we ready to do this?
Yeah.
All right, so while they're talking, Val sends message. Asked to assassinate a target and retinue during hunt tomorrow. Arcanist will be released immediately. A rival will take blame. Yes or no?
Well,
I'm not-
You have 6 seconds to reply.
Yes, and I can't really. I know, like, whatever I say is a reply.
I've got more spells,
I
though.
will say, if this is the only option, then yes. And then I will inform the other two of what just happened.
I'll put a hand on her ladyship that I'm talking to and say, 1 moment, please. Val, darling, a description might be useful for them. Of the golden bitch, as it were.
I figured we.
Smile grow just a little bit.
I figured we would give them that description in person, unless you think it pertinent to the situation at hand.
They can start keeping an eye out for anything.
Very well. Use another spell. So, reminder description? Other than golden hair?
Amber hair.
Oh, amber
for
hair?
the most part.
Golden clothes.
Golden clothes, that's what it was.
Gloriously golden garb is how I had written it out. Literally woven of golden thread. She carried herself with a very haughty air, a wickedly curved grin painted across delicate, beautiful features.
Wait, I thought that was the Empress.
Yeah, no, that's why I was getting confused. I was like, wait, wires crossed.
Or not paying attention.
She had the gall to try to upstage the Empress in her own court.
Yeah. No,
She was eye-catching on the same level as the Empress was. There was reasons why y'all got the description for her.
And now you died.
So I will then, after saying that, I'll look to the other two and say, apparently, the only way, at least what Val has said, of how we're getting out of here, is we are required to take care of somebody tomorrow.
I assume you're whispering this to us or something.
Yeah, I mean, we're required to take care of somebody tomorrow, and then with that, are required to be released.
Well, if that's our only option, I suppose that's what we can do. That's what we're good at
Your
least.
specialty may come into play here.
I'm going to send one more message, and this one I'm going to do silently.
Okay.
To my little friend, and I think you know which friend I'm referring to.
I believe so.
You never gave me his name, though. I just realized that.
That is okay. This is going to be Lyrion. Lirion. Lyrion.
Oh, you have a name.
Yeah.
Confused. But
And I'm going to do this one silently. Lyrian, I hope you recognize my voice. How far are you from the Eventide Empress? And how good are you at tracking? Yeah, that's all I got.
Tracking is my specialty. I can be there in half a dozen candle marks. Will this make us even?
I will... Wow, I'm using all the spell slots today.
We have to rest.
Yeah, she did say next cycle, so we've got time. I will send a message back. If you do the job right, yes, we'll be even. Can you find me on your own, or should I leave a marker for you to... Yeah, a marker for you.
the court of the Eventide Empress, I'll find you.
Excellent. Yeah. I think I'll turn to Ryan and Quesator. Looks like everyone's in agreement. We're good to go.
Well, it seems it is a yes, your ladyship. So please kindly take that with regards to your mother. And I do believe we have a wonderful evening ahead of us.
Date night.
Indeed. She holds out her arm and leads you through that same passageway her mother went. And it forks a little ways, and you can find she takes the right-hand fork. It leads you back in a semicircular route to the room with the gala. Is there anything you wanted to do? You can follow if you want.
I've only got one thing left, and then I'm good for the session.
All right. I was going to say, is there anything else you'll want to do before we wind this down?
When we get there, I'm going to find a very quiet corner to plant myself and cast Locate Creature on our Crimson Lady.
All right. It is fairly easy to find her. She is still in the room, sort of making the rounds, speaking with a number of elves and fae. It points you directly at her.
Yeah, just making sure I can ping her that she doesn't have any kind of protection to keep me from tracking her.
Not currently, at least. All right.
Yep, that's it. That's all I needed.
And on that note, with Rye dancing the hours away, half the party waiting outside, and an assassination tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and end the session there.
Oh, God. This is going to be bad.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this adventure. We will go ahead and catch you on our next session. While y'all are out there in the world, please stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, wear a mask, be careful. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.